but I had to leave the grandkids alone to defend the country.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, August 26, 2018. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1063.
This is No Agenda.
Preparing to venture into the other dimension and broadcasting live from the capital of the Georgia Star State here in downtown Austin, Tejas, in the Cludio in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where there's plenty of news and free soup, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Nice one. No one walks away from free soup.
They have it at Google.
Not for long.
No, that's Facebook. You keep.
No, I think it was actually Twitter. It was actually Twitter. I think we're both wrong. No, they should. No one should have that. Support your local vendors, people. Well, I don't know where to start. I mean, travel report, McCain. So much happening. Good stuff.
Let's just. Well, we traditionally start with the travel report, so I think we should go with that.
Okay. I went to Chicago. This was really nice. Tina was there all week for the Ronald McDonald House Global Conference.
Which you got some good weather, I guess.
Completely shit. On Friday, it rained.
Oh, well, then you're done.
Well, no, it was a good trip. So Tina had a great time. Very well organized conference, and it really invigorated her and the Central Texas team. And so I'm like, yeah, we'll come out. I'll come out there, and we'll just tack on 2 extra days. And fun to be in a different city. We're in love. We're best friends, so it's fun to be somewhere else. Oh, and I got this fantastic deal at Lowe's Hotel. You familiar with the Lowe's? The Lowe's? Hello?
Zephyr just went by. Yes, I was counting cars.
Wait, you make the sound. Make the sound. You were counting cars. Oh, I need to have this thing on standby. Say it again, John. You were counting cars?
Oh, my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
You foamer.
So what does foamer mean?
Foaming at the mouth, I presume.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got this.
Yes, I have actually stayed at that hotel.
So I got an upgrade to a junior suite, a fantastic deal. Like, this is great. It's a nice hotel.
Nice hotel.
With Tina excited about, her job at the conference and the collective mission. It was nice. Everyone's positive, really good. Of course, to get there after the show on Thursday, we have our little procedure. It takes about 35 minutes to get the show up and out, and it's selecting title and artwork and doing credits, and editing and open to the show. And the playback was all garbled and jumpy. I'm like, oh, I got to catch a flight. Now we have this. So I'm pulling stuff from the backup tape, but I haven't done it from this new recorder yet. And you say wisely, "Hey, it's Windows. Let's just check that again. Check that playback again." Thank you. You saved me a lot of hassle with that. To the rescue. So
yes, ta-da!
So I have like 2 hours to get everything together and get out and get to the airport. And I drive myself. I'm not. I got plenty of time. I'm not going to take an Uber. Of course, I didn't have pre-check because I'm traveling alone, even though I paid for the privilege, but I never get it. It's probably based on my FICO score. Only when I travel with the keeper. So it's taken a little while to get through the TSA. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm finally here. Flight delayed for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know this story, man.
So what was the rush?
Exactly. And then you walk around Austin Bergstrom Airport.
What carrier was this? You can't
Southwest. No, Southwest is typically good.
This is weird because Southwest recently has been having a lot of delays, and I can't figure out why. They've had them on the West Coast too. I think it's these fires or something. There's something going on.
That's possible.
Hang-ups. And it affects the entire system, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you have like a scheduled line flight, like American Airlines, it's a much bigger problem because they don't have these planes just shuttling back and forth. They have to get a plane from a different trajectory, and that can really screw you over. In Southwest, they can be late, but then they're just late the whole day, and they have to catch up somewhere overnight or whatever they do. So it was atypical, but now I don't leave until 8:15. Or 8:20, and the Austin Airport has become such a commercial piece of crap. You have all these this is the cool Austin. Here's Salt Lick. It's the airport version of Salt Lick Barbecue, which is a very famous barbecue place in Austin. And they have an airport version of it. It just it doesn't feel right.
The old Austin airport on the entire other side of town was a better airport.
Yeah, I never witnessed that one. And
it was quaint. It was kind of like the airport you'd find in Hilo or Long Beach or or even Burbank. It's more like Burbank.
But Austin's airport, the new one, was pretty cool a couple of years ago. It's just all the concessions. We have a store called Book People, not far from real downtown, and it's one of the last independent bookstores. And it's really nice to go in there and browse, and people are helpful and they're knowledgeable. And, it's a real bookstore. It's not like a Barnes and Noble, and people support it. They have a book people at the airport, which is like 2 cases of books, the top ones. And then it's all the other tchotchkes and keep Austin candy. Weird bull crap. No, it's a souvenir shop, and they've branded it as Book People.
T-shirts.
Yes. It's icky. The whole thing is icky. Anyway. So I get to the hotel, and it's like 11:45. Went through Midway, and get into. And so Tina also has a little bit of a throat ache because of caught something, I'm sure, with 1,000 people at the conference, and how that goes.
Ache?
Yeah, a little throat ache, little scratchy, little congested.
Wow, I never heard that one.
A throat ache?
No, I never heard throat.
A sore throat. I should say.
Yeah, that's what people normally say.
Sorry, it's the Dutch in me.
I like it though.
So I realized this great deal I got on the junior suite. Yeah, it was a handicap suite. Now I know why it was such a great deal.
Oh, well, that makes it easier if you get wasted.
I got a special seat in the shower and sat up way high on the toilet. I'm like, it's not exactly a junior suite.
Way high on this toilet.
It's not exactly a junior suite.
You're on your throne, monsieur.
Oh man! So of course, unfortunately, it was raining Friday. We did wind up walking around quite a bit, and Tina used to live there, so I had good fun, and couldn't get in any of the restaurants she recommended, which she didn't expect for a Saturday night. I did say, "Don't you know who I am?" And they said no and hung up. I tried at least. So we wound up having dinner at. They have a couple places in Chicago. Beatrix, you ever heard of them?
Nah.
Nice. It just had a Wagyu beef and was like cooked for 20 hours.
Yeah,
it was good. And Saturday was actually fantastic.
Why would you cook Wagyu beef for 20 hours?
It was just good. I didn't ask. It tasted good. We had a good time. We drank rosé. It was a Saturday. Was a big park day. They had all kinds of dance groups in the park. Although to get into the park, you had to go through security. Including, although we didn't have to go through that, but there was a TSA Viper team on premises.
Please. You're talking about that giant park that's got the Geary stuff in it?
Yeah, well, and the Bean. Millennial
Bean.
Park.
Yeah. What would you... Yeah. It's an open air park. It's along the whole street.
Yeah, every entrance.
It off?
Every entrance, they had a security checkpoint. Yeah. With metal detectors, look in your bags. Oh, yeah.
Why, somebody's going to blow up a park?
Well, the only thing I could think is there were a lot of...
look at that grass fly.
there were a lot of urban dance groups, and maybe there was some worry that gangbangers would show up. I don't know.
Fight. That could happen.
Yeah. Fight. Yeah, something like that. Now, on the way back, though, I learned something very important. I think is important for the show. We took an Uber to Midway. And the guy was very talkative, retired guy. I learned something new about what they're doing at Uber. They just released a new version of the app. I think it's possibly for the drivers only. I don't use the app anymore, so I don't know if there's a new one for the riders. But Uber no longer is stating surge pricing when it's in effect on the app. So we were just quoted a price, and the guy said, it's surge. I said, no, there's no surge. He said, yeah, there's surge. They don't say surge pricing anymore. They don't tell you what they're tacking on. So, well, that's kind of crappy. He says, it gets better. See, their pricing. So, of course, we already know their pricing rides dynamically based upon what they know about you, the rider. And that's kind of how to determine how much they're going to charge initially and what the surge fee will be. But they also, they're making assumptions about your tolerance level, basically. He said, if you don't like, you should always reject the first fare they quote, request the ride again. He says 99% of the time you get a different quote, and it's also usually lower. So they're probing you to see what your tolerance level is. But get this, they're playing the spread between the customer and the driver because they quote the driver an extra amount fare for this surge pricing. And we figured out between the two of us that they had offered him like $4 more, but they had charged us $14 more. So they're taking the spread in the middle, and the driver can also reject the ask or the bid, basically. So he can get a different price. I mean, they are building almost like a stock exchange of the ride.
Sounds more like a craps table.
I think it sounds like an exchange.
Well, it's stupid. People don't need this aggravation.
Well, people don't know this. They just go, oh, okay, it costs that much. Click, done, good to go. But now, of course, now people are going to start to figure it out. If you reject it, then you can get a different price. But the drivers are doing the same. So it's this back and forth. It's like real-time price negotiation.
Yeah, bid and ask.
Yeah, without even knowing it. I thought that was really interesting.
I would say one thing, though. Don't you think it's great that you can fly out of Midway?
Yeah, except it took us an hour and a half because of traffic. There was something.
Can you imagine that if that took you an hour and a half to get to Midway? Can you imagine what it would take you to get to O'Hare?
No, I don't even want to think about it. And then,
3
of course,
hours.
And then the Southwest flight it was only a half hour, but it was delayed too. It was very confusing. Nothing was
strange.
Nothing was on the boards right, and people were lining up for the wrong flights and gate changes, and then back to the original gate. Something's going on with Southwest for sure, or at least this Austin to Chicago bit. There's something wrong.
Huh.
So,
what are you going to do?
So then, well, if I can just continue a little. Well, no. There's more I want to say, but maybe we go into McCain now, because otherwise I'm just yapping the whole show.
Oh, yeah, McCain. He died,
I heard.
Yeah.
You know what I like about America? No matter what if you're in the public eye most of your life, or your adult life, whether it's in politics or show business or literate, it doesn't matter what it is. Even if a lot of people think you're a shitheel, at the end, we're big on second chances, but we're also. We kind of, we always want to thank people for being part of the American story. It's like, you're a hero. Give it to the guy. He's dead. He was around. We hated him. We loved him. We enjoyed him. We despised him.
Dave, I will say, after you're done with this, that is not the case on Twitter.
Nor is it the case of one clip that I have, but I think you should let me know what you've got first. Okay,
I'm going to tell you what I've got. I got a couple of ISOs.
Oh, okay.
I have a good ISO, but I have 2 or 3 ISOs today for consideration.
Oh, nice.
Might as well play the McCain ISO right away.
This one?
We're getting nothing done, my friends. We're getting nothing done.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I thought that was okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
So they have a McCain rundown on CBS, which is 3 minutes. If you want to hear the whole story of
I have no problem with that.
Okay, well, let's go with it.
John McCain, Senator.
Again, he's a hero. He was part of our story. We can at least honor him with 3 minutes.
He's part of our show. He's a big part of our show.
So I'm thankful for that.
And now all we've got is Lindsey Graham living at home with mom.
I mean, seriously, this is hurting the show.
That's a big difference in McCain, who had 7 houses.
Yeah, 3 wives. 5 wives? The guy was an American hero.
John McCain, Senator, presidential candidate, and Vietnam War hero, has died after a 13-month battle with brain cancer. The Republican from Arizona was 81. His family announced yesterday he was discontinuing medical treatment. CBS News chief congressional correspondent Nancy Cortez looks back at the life of John McCain.
I've been an imperfect servant of my country for many years, but I've been her servant first, last, and always.
John Sidney McCain III was a military hero who became a maverick politician. he joined the family business, becoming a Navy pilot. In 1967, on a bombing run over Hanoi, he was shot down and badly injured, then bayoneted after splashing down in a lake.
When they found out that my father was an admiral, they took me to a hospital.
While holding him as a prisoner of war, the North Vietnamese tried to exploit his family connections. They offered him an early release, but he refused to violate the military code of first in, first out. He was finally freed after 5.5 years of beatings and torture.
I do not recommend the treatment, but I know that I'm a better person for it.
In 1982, he was elected to the U.S. House from Arizona, and 4 years later to the Senate. He earned a reputation for straight talk.
If the special interests continue to play a greater and greater role in the formulation of legislation, then we will see a breakdown of democracy as we know it. And I'm not exaggerating.
In 2008, he clinched the Republican nomination, choosing another maverick as a running mate.
Governor Sarah Palin of the great state of Alaska.
Palin energized conservatives, but in the midst of a financial crisis, the country was ready for a change. Democrat Barack Obama beat McCain with a 2-1 electoral landslide. He returned to the Senate, became chair of the Armed Services Committee, drew fire from Donald Trump.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
And returned it.
That in many respects, this administration is in disarray.
But in the summer of 2017, the normally sharp McCain grew fatigued and had a few verbal stumbles.
In the case of Mr. Comey, the President Comey, in the case of President Trump.
Tests revealed glioblastoma, an aggressive form of brain cancer.
This disease is never...
Wait a minute. They use that as an example of his brain cancer, that he made a mistake like that?
You want
that's a little
apparently everyone
odd.
has brain cancer because that's our show.
No, sir. In the case of President Trump.
Tests revealed glioblastoma, an aggressive form of brain cancer.
This disease has never had a more worthy opponent.
Still, the former fighter pilot returned to the Senate to cast a decisive vote against a slapdash effort to repeal parts of Obamacare. And after 3.5 decades in Congress, he left his colleagues with an entreaty to work together.
We're getting nothing done, my friends. We're getting nothing done. And the times when I was involved, even in a modest way, with working on a bipartisan response to a national problem or threat are the proudest moments of my career and by far the most satisfying.
A message only a maverick could deliver.
Oh, quite the hagiography there from CBS, huh?
It was totally that, but I want to point out something. And one of the things I got on today's show are these so-called the things I just call switchbacks. Mm-hmm. I'm now changing the term to misdirection, which is you say one thing and you exemplify it with something else. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a magic trick. Mm-hmm. Now, there's not one here necessarily. There is one kind of a back-assward one. But I want to play this again at the end, what she said at the end. This is Nancy Cordes on McCain clip. And this is what she says at the end. She just has some random quotes, and then she says, this could only be said by a maverick. She opened the whole hagiography with the word maverick, and then he's like a maverick. Right. And I don't even know what that means anymore. And then when she uses this as an example, the best example she can find of him being a maverick, I want you to listen to this carefully and tell me it's anything but just any old boring statement.
We're getting nothing done, my friends. We're getting nothing done. And the times when I was involved, even in a modest way, with working on a bipartisan response to a national problem or threat are the proudest moments of my career and by far the most satisfying.
A message only a maverick could deliver.
You make an excellent point. What? Anyone could deliver that message.
Anybody.
I was thinking, if we want to have a clip of someone who actually knows John McCain's history, and there's two other people that are involved in his history that are involved with him and his whole maverick historical being, is Steve Pieczenik. And he a couple months ago, I think May, as it was known that McCain was dying, he put out a statement, which, he's respectful about, look, McCain's dying, that's too bad, but let me tell you about John McCain, and it's not just McCain, and it's just as long as that clip we heard, the hagiography. It also involves Petraeus and Bob Kerrey, if we remember him. And I'd like to play that as a balance from someone who was biased because he's been in intelligence, been in the military, has been involved in government and defense for most of his life. And I looked up, I just started to look up a couple of things he was saying in this, and they all check out as they usually do with Pechenik. Listen to this.
Hello, I'm Dr. Pechenik. Today I want to talk to you about how false heroes are created in the name of honor and grandeur for our country. In particular, I'm talking about John McCain, who's unfortunately dying, but he had a history which really put a black mark on him in our American experience in Vietnam. And let me tell you what I think. I've never liked John McCain. I knew a lot about his history. I knew that he was a spoiled, entitled brat at Indianapolis. His father was head of CPAC. His grandfather was a famous admiral. In turn, he was one of the lowest men in the class of 899 people at Annapolis. He should have been thrown out, but his father kept him in. His flying experience was erratic and dangerous. He crashed several planes and then crashed on the USS Forrestal, killing several Americans. What he is known for, though, is for having been shot down in a 29th bombing mission over Vietnam. He claims he was tortured and has fractured his hands and his face. That's not correct. He destroyed his arms and his face on the ejection. However, what happened as a POW is the case in point. I know several of the POWs who were in the Hanoi Hilton with him, and they found him despicable. They found him to be a coward, a traitor, and the fact that he refused to be released because it was considered bravery was nonsense. The reason he could not leave the prison in Vietnam was the simple fact that he would defy military order and would have been arrested for what he had done as a criminal, as a POW. In fact, the remaining part of his life is quite despicable and disgraceful. He was involved in the SNL scandals and Keating. He was corrupt, and he never had to go to prison for that. Then subsequently, he closed all of the POW records so nobody would know what kind of a treasonous individual he was. And then, very much like any sociopath, he decided that the best things to do for America is to go to war. Any war and all wars. So he invited the Iraq War, the war in Syria, the war in Libya, the war in Somalia, Sudan, and everywhere else. In fact, he killed more Americans than any other president I would have known of, even more than George W. Bush. Now, who testified for his veracity and the fact that he is going to be a new hero? The man who testified on his behalf is none other than another coward and treasonous military officer other than David Petraeus. Let me tell you about General David Petraeus, a man who lived right next to West Point, married the commandant's daughter. He was a very ambitious little man, received all kinds of accolades as a very smart individual, went to Princeton and forced his supervisor to give him a PhD in less than a year and a half. But what was it that made David Petraeus great? It was David Petraeus. He never really had been in combat, and in fact awarded himself some combat medals, which a lot of military officers said, we don't understand how we received it. More importantly, David Petraeus was caught for a major felony and a criminal act, passing over 5 notebooks with top secret information to a woman whom he seduced while he was director of the CIA. Normally, he would have been in prison for that for 10 to 15 years, but he got a little slap on his hand. So it's not an accident that David Petraeus agrees that John McCain, another coward and traitor, is a great man. Then the third man we're talking about is Bob Kerrey. Most of you don't know very much about him. He's a Democrat. He was a pharmacy student and came out of Nebraska. He did join the SEALs. He did go into Vietnam, and he was injured in Vietnam and received the Congressional Medal of Honor. He knew he should not have received the Congressional Medal of Honor because, unfortunately, his foot was shot off, and he knew it was just an accident in war. He hadn't done anything that was particularly particularly heroic. He said it to his present days. He said, I don't deserve it. At the same time, he received the Bronze Star for having killed 22 innocent men, women, and children. So what's the moral of the story? John McCain doesn't ride any higher than Trump, who refused to serve in our Vietnam War. But those who accuse themselves of treachery. In French, we say, qui s'excuse s'accuse. And let me repeat one thing Ralph Waldo Emerson said, a brave man is an ordinary man who's only brave for 5 minutes more. Thank you, good night, and good luck.
There you go. I think that says it all.
What does he think of Aretha Franklin?
He gives her nothing but respect.
Respect.
Yeah. So do you catch that? J'accuse, je suis accused, whatever the hell it was. It was basically the French version of...
You accuse, I accuse
yes.
me. Who I accuse, I
Wat je zegt ben jezelf, met je kop door de helft. Exactly.
Yes, the same
stuff.
It's a similar phrase.
Yeah.
I should mention, after listening to that, which was quite a good clip, that Chuck Schumer, of course, jumps in on this as I'm very skeptical by the fact that all these Democrats are all gung-ho for McCain.
Well, if you just hold on one sec. If you take what Pachenik just said there into context, that the guy was a liar, a cheater, and a narcissist, it makes nothing but sense that when he's coming to his end, he thinks, I'm going out a good guy. This is about my legacy. I was the only Republican who stood up to Trump. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, well, good work on that. So Schumer wants to immediately rename I think it's the Richard Russell Senate building, a building named after a famous Democrat, to the McCain building. I just thought that was a bit premature.
Much. A bit much.
and much.
Yeah, it's all virtue signaling at this point. All of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So, and we'll have lots of that.
I think that was a nice balanced, no agenda report. We had the good and the bad.
Yeah.
We need the ugly now.
Let me see. Well, aren't we just the ugly? Isn't that just how it goes?
Yeah, there's a joke there somewhere.
Yeah, there is.
All right, so that's McCain. He's done.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, that's right. He's done.
We just have Lindsey Graham left. And it's funny because I listen to all these reports that were saying, it's Jeff Flake, Lindsey Graham, John McCain, the mainstream media. There's only senators they quote. All Trump haters.
Yeah.
I mean, Graham's kind of on the fence and he handles it better, but it's the same people. And we got Senator Flake said this, Jeff Flake says this, and Lindsey Graham says that, and John. There's 50 senators.
Well,
it's rare that anybody else has ever quoted but about 4 guys.
Yeah, they got no brand recognition. It's not good enough for M5M. Surely you understand this.
Jeff Flake has no real brand, or he would be running again.
He does. He has the brand as the guy who resigned over Trump.
Yeah.
That's his brand. Yeah, that's his brand. Did he resign already? Is he still there? What's going on?
No, he's still there. He's just not running for re-election.
So he gets his final goodbye. Like, good work, Jeff. Good virtue signaling, bah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
There were some stories that were kind of overlooked.
Okay.
One of that I thought was kind of
How about every single story in the world overlooked? I mean, if it's not...
Let me just get one out of the way, because I know that nobody in the mainstream even touched it, because they don't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Reality Winner story that we've kind of forgotten about.
NSA whistleblower Reality Winner has been sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison, the longest sentence ever imposed in federal court for leaking government information to the media. The 26-year-old Reality Winner is the first person to be sentenced under the Espionage Act since President Trump took office.
We're not laughing about her name anymore, but wow, what a failure on naming your kid, huh? Reality Winner. 5 years in the slammer.
The other thing is I want to mention at the beginning, they also, Democracy Now! Is really, pull some stunts. And she's not a whistleblower.
No.
A whistleblower is somebody who uncovers some sort of wrongdoing.
And puts their name on it.
Corruption at an agency or someplace, and they blow it out of the water. They blow the whistle on someone. This is not a whistleblower. She had a document.
She was a leaker.
That she slipped to the media.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with whistleblowing. It was just a secret that nobody wanted to
but John,
release.
You have to understand that just like racism, racist has a new meaning. The old meaning for us is colorist, which is a new meaning. Then we have whistleblower. So now a leaker is a whistleblower, and a whistleblower is a traitor. That's what Snowden is. Snowden is a traitor. You see?
You're right.
So it's new definitions. It's new definitions. All right, back to the clip.
This out.
26-year-old reality winner is the first person to be sentenced under the Espionage Act since President Trump took office. Her sentencing Thursday came after she pleaded guilty in June to transmitting a top-secret document to a news organization. She'd faced up to 10 years in prison. This is Bobby Christine, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Georgia, speaking after winner's sentencing.
The sentence rendered today is the longest received by a defendant for an unauthorized disclosure of national defense information to the media. It appropriately satisfies the need for both punishment and deterrence in light of the nature and seriousness of the offense. Winner's purposeful violation put our nation's security at risk. She claimed to hate America. When asked, "You don't really hate America, right?" Right. She responded, "I mean, yeah, I do. It's literally the worst thing to happen on the planet." She was the quintessential example of an insider threat.
Reality winner was arrested by FBI agents at her home in Augusta, Georgia, June 3rd, 2017, 2 days before The Intercept published an expose revealing Russian military intelligence and conducted a cyber attack on at least one U.S. voting software company just days before the U.S. presidential election in 2016. The expose was based on a classified NSA report from May 5th, 2017, that shows the agency is convinced the Russian General Staff Main Intelligence Directorate, or GRU, was responsible for interfering in the 2016 presidential election. Earlier this morning, President Trump tweeted about the case, saying, quote, "Ex-NSA contractor to spend 63 months in jail over classified information. Gee, this is small potatoes compared to what Hillary Clinton did. So unfair, Jeff. Double standard."
Did you see that Trump, Scott Adams mentioned this in some tweet? He did what Scott Adams calls one named her. So now she's no longer Crooked Hillary. He just said Crooked. Crooked's emails. He's one named her as Crooked. That is pretty genius. But you know what's going on?
Let me finish this last clip. I want to mention something. They go on and they bring a bunch of experts in. The problem is they throw this gratuitous Trump tweet into the story, which really has nothing to do with it.
No.
But it just discombobulated these guys because Trump is sounding like he's siding with reality winner because she got sentenced to too long a sentence because Hillary should be in jail. And the whole thing, it's just like to watch these guys flounder around with this crazy idea was just too funny.
Well, something happened regarding the sentencing. And there was a clip going around because, this is, of course, the work of the Justice Department. Jeff Sessions, who, as far as I'm concerned, has been playing this game from day one with Trump pretending to hate each other. Because
I'm in total agreement with this theory.
Well, let's put the Q glasses on for a second. Do you have...
Ow!
Let me... I know that if we wear them more, the sharp edges will wear off. It's a little hard. This is the money honey, Maria Bartiromo. And this clip was going around as people going, "Oh, yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Look at him smile. Jeff Sessions, trust the plan."
We're going after this aggressively. I have directed it personally. Some of the matters involve this matter, and some of it is matters that I'm not recused on, and we're pursuing aggressively.
So you feel that there are matters that you can get into. For example, there's a lot of feeling out there that the Hillary Clinton email investigation was a sham. Loretta Lynch told Jim Comey to call it a matter. That's exactly what he did, and in fact, it was a criminal investigation. We know that he wrote an exoneration letter, Jim Comey did, before he even did the interview with Hillary Clinton. What have you learned in terms of the reopening of the Hillary Clinton email investigation? Will there be charges? Will there be accountability here, sir?
Jeez.
Here it comes.
Maria, we're going to do our job in this department Department properly and correctly, and I'm not going to be led into discussion of all the details of matters that you might be interested in. We can't do that in the media. We're going to restore the rule of law. We're going to restore propriety in how cases are managed, and that's all I can promise you.
And he has this big smile at the end. And I know that this was discussed heavily because someone, tagged me in this tweet thread, which went on for 19 hours. People jumping in like, yeah, he's smiling. He's going to do it. He's going to get her. Trust the plan. Q knows. I mean, it was really interesting to watch. And we can see it, of course, clearly with the glasses on.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, these glasses are smudged.
Well, all right, take them off. There you go. Better.
I'm bleeding from my temple.
But I still you're bleeding from your temple. This is not good.
Just a scratch.
Okay. Well, I still think that Trump is almost on the verge of overplaying his hand on the hate between him and Jeff. If you read his tweets,
well, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, of course not.
And it's just back and forth. It just keeps this thing boiling. And now, actually, I got a funny clip on this, I think. Do I have a Sessions clip? Yeah, I did clip something about this. That I think this was ABC, maybe. Let's see, I got a Packer story, death of football. Let's, Packer story. Some polling results.
I have going over the...
Yeah, Trump versus Sessions. Trump versus play this.
Oh, yes, I see it now, of course.
Now, Sessions typically ignores the president's attacks, but this time he's pushing back in a statement saying, I took control of the Department of Justice the day I was sworn in. While I am Attorney General, the actions of the Department of Justice will not be improperly influenced by political considerations. End quote, Cecilia.
Yeah, it was a stunning statement, Pierre, but now it seems to not be a question of whether the president will fire Jeff Sessions, but when, especially on Capitol Hill, people wondering before or after the midterms.
That's a great question, Cecilia. Some Senate Republicans are circling the wagons around Sessions, warning President Trump not to fire him. One senator saying that forcing Sessions out would be, quote, bad for the country. Others, like Senator Lindsey Graham, suggesting that while the president has a right to an attorney general he has faith in, firing Sessions before the midterm elections is a non-starter. But Graham said there will come a point, sooner rather than later, where it will be time to have a new face at the Justice Department. But a growing number of law enforcement officials are worried that President Trump is more concerned about loyalty than the rule of law and that he's trying to control the Justice Department, Cecilia.
That was a major shift in tone from Lindsey Graham. Okay, Pierre, thank you.
Yeah, it's like a mob boss. It's all about loyalty, boys. That's what you do when you're in the mob.
Well, there's a couple of things Trump must have noted, which is that Sessions was an early target of the let's get rid of all these people, Flynn and everyone else, whatever we could do, get him out of there. But because he started this feud with Sessions, I think they completely backed off from even thinking of, going
let it go. Him. Just let it go.
Trump hates him. He must be okay then.
Put him in McCain's grave. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know either, but it sounds bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that idea, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let's go to one of my favorite kind of back and forths I got here, which is the David Pecker story. And this one here has misdirections, two major misdirections that I want to discuss. It's a long clip.
It's okay. I got long clips today, too. It's totally okay.
We got a long clip day. And there's two. I want to see if you can spot the two. This is like a little challenging because it's not easy to do. I mean, that's why I think the media deconstruction we do is so interesting. And we've talked about our methodology before. And if you're just the member of the public watching these stories, they just blow by you and you get suckered into the misdirection because it's almost like a magic act where the guy's doing something and then a big bolt shows up on the close-up magic. Where did bolt come from?
I don't know. It's something I don't know. Bolt. How about flowers? Rabbit.
The cups. You got the little ball in the cups and he moves it back and forth. And he says, "Which one's the ball under?" And he lifts up the cup. No, it's not there. And it's not there. Then there's a giant bolt under one of the cups.
How do you do that? It's like a double whammy misdirection. Like what?
Yeah. So you go what?
Yeah.
So they do this to the public.
Bamboozling, I think it's called.
And this is ABC. And on first listen, because I clip some of these things and both of us do this. We listen and then we hear the misdirection or we hear the scam after we've actually deconstructed, after we listen. But you can't do that when you're watching the show live. Nobody's going to sit there and go through this thing. So I have two in this clip.
Okay.
And it's Tom Yamas, and I think...
Oh, no. The pooper guy.
No, that's not Tom Yamas. The pooper guy is Jeff Pegues.
Oh, it's Pegues. I'm sorry. Yamas. All right. Yeah, sorry.
Tom Yamas is a substitute.
He's the new guy.
He's been around for a long time. He's at least 10 years. He's not new at all. But he is he's shameless when it comes to doing these. And ABC is in general. And I want you to see if you can spot even one of the two.
David Pecker, the president's friend and publisher of the National Enquirer, given immunity in exchange for information about former Trump attorney Michael Cohen. ABC's chief national affairs correspondent Tom Yamas joins us now with all the latest. Good morning, Tom.
Amy, good morning to you. It's the type of high-profile split that would likely grace the cover of the National Enquirer. But this time the story involves the tabloid. The National Enquirer's boss, David Pecker, a longtime Trump ally and friend, talking to prosecutors and, according to a source, telling them the president knew about hush money deals during the campaign. This morning, another jolt to the president's inner circle. Tabloid king David Pecker, head of the National Enquirer and a longtime Trump ally, granted immunity by federal prosecutors. Michael, what's your message to the president? A source telling ABC News he agreed to provide information about Michael Cohen, the president, and the criminal investigation into campaign finance violations.
In April of 1999, when we acquired American Media,
Pecker's company, AMI, owns some of the biggest tabloid and gossip magazines. And in court documents related to Cohen's guilty plea, prosecutors say just 2 months after the president announced his candidacy in June of 2015, Pecker and Cohen hatched a plan to deal with negative stories against Trump by identifying such stories so they could be purchased and their publication avoided. According to the documents, the two men coordinated on silencing 2 women who claimed to have had sexual affairs with the president before he ran for office. Former Playmate Karen McDougal sold her story to Pecker's company AMI, which never published it.
Were you in love with him?
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you think he was in love with you?
He was, yeah.
And porn star Stormy Daniels received a $130,000 payoff by Cohen. Court documents allege it was Pecker who told Cohen Daniels was trying to sell her story. And Pecker also helped during the campaign by showering the president with positive news coverage. The National Enquirer endorsing him, a first for the tabloid, while trashing his opponents, including the baseless claim that Senator Ted Cruz's father was involved in the JFK assassination, then candidate Trump promoting that story.
They got OJ, they got Edwards, they got this. I mean, if that was the New York Times, they would have gotten Pulitzer Prizes for their reporting.
But now the president slamming those who are turning on him.
Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed. It's not fair.
And we've now learned the relationship between the president and David Pecker so close that sources tell us the National Enquirer actually kept a safe containing Trump-related documents.
Oh, and Tom, the Manhattan District Attorney, there are reports already that they are considering charges against the Trump Organization.
Yeah, this is brand new, but also very, very early in the process. The New York Times is reporting that the Manhattan DA's office is considering pursuing criminal charges against the Trump Organization and 2 senior company officials, specifically looking at how the organization accounted its reimbursement to Michael Cohen for that $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. But again, guys, this is still very early in the stages.
Okay. So if I were listening just as a normal person who just kind of is zoned out in alpha state watching the news, I'd be like, huh? Everyone's turning on him. I think part of the misdirection, I heard 2, although the first one was really weird, about purchasing stories and keeping people quiet before he ran for president. So I don't quite see how you connect that. And the other one that clearly a whipsaw misdirection was Trump talking about these people flipping. It's not, and they kind of made it about Pecker, but I don't think that was out of context of Pecker. Did I get anything right?
Well, that you may have. I think you've got those two, or I think your analysis is correct. But I don't think those are the major ones I was looking at.
Okay,
and I want to play them. The first one is this one, which is the Pecker ABC misdirection. It's not this one here. Listen to the premise. This is one where you premise something and then you use Trump quotes.
Right.
Now, listen to it. And the quotes have nothing to do with the premise.
Gotcha.
A first for the tabloid while trashing his opponents, including the baseless claim that Senator Ted Cruz's father was involved in the JFK assassination. Then candidate Trump promoting that story.
They got OJ, they got Edwards, they got this. I mean, if that was the New York Times, they would have gotten Pulitzer prizes for their reporting.
But now the president slamming those who are turning on him.
Stop.
So was he actually talking about that Cruz story in that clip?
He's talking about no.
That's what Well,
I mean, he's just talking about the Inquirer in general. But but Yama says Trump was promoting the story that Cruz's dad killed Kennedy or had something to do with it, and then they play a clip that does not promote that.
Doesn't mention him at all. No, I agree. It certainly sounds like it's in that context, which is why it's so good.
Yeah, it's in context, in a context that makes it sound like maybe you're confirming the assertion, but the assertion is never confirmed by the clip that they play.
Right. And
this is chicken shit journalism.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play the second one.
But now the president slamming those who are turning on him.
Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed. It's not fair.
Yeah, I think I was right on that one.
Where's the slamming?
Hold on. Let's listen again. Hold on.
But now the president slamming those who are turning on him.
Everything's wonderful, and then they get 10 years in jail, and they flip on whoever the next highest one is, or as high as you can go. It almost ought to be outlawed. It's not fair.
It's not fair. Isn't quite the same as slamming.
It's a lament.
Yeah.
There's no slamming.
Yeah.
This is bullcrap. There is no slamming. Yama says he slams people, and then he plays a Trump quote where Trump is lamenting the way the situation is rigged.
Yeah.
He's not slamming anybody.
Exactly.
And this is the kind of thing that they constantly do on ABC.
Very good. Very, very good, John. Yeah. That's, what'd you call it? CSJ? CSJ. I like CSJ. Chicken shit journalism.
Chicken shit journalism.
Journos doing CS. Shit. Yeah, total. Yeah, as a journalist, I'm sure you're perturbed.
Well, I'm apparently more of a editor at these junctures with this stuff. I mean, this is. I mean, if I was one of the editors, I don't know what these guys are even thinking, letting this stuff get in on the air.
Yeah,
you can't say he slammed him and then play a clip that doesn't slam him at all.
Yeah, and what exactly? If you're doing ABC journo stuff, slammed isn't really a word that should be even in your dictionary, should it?
No, and Tom Yamas is easily making over $1 million a year doing this stuff.
Well, now you're just jealous because I certainly am.
Well, there's that.
Speaking of that, I just want to take a minute here. When we were driving back from Bergstrom Airport, Tina's reading your second newsletter to me in the car. And I had to reread it again at home because it felt like it was really personal, because it was. I don't know if you intended it that way, but it came across as really personal.
Yeah, well, it was.
You want to just reiterate briefly what you said?
I said that here's what happened. So I sent out the first newsletter, and then within, I always have this. I can predict how we're gonna do with the newsletter.
And by the way, we know that if we don't send out a newsletter, it significantly impacts support of the show.
It does.
Because we just recently did that. We didn't do a newsletter.
Yes, we did. We skipped when everyone got all bent out of shape about it. So they did.
Yes, and donations were very low.
They were. So I sent this newsletter out. And it had an essay in it I put a lot of effort into. Mainly, I spent more than one setting writing it. And so within 4 hours of the mailing, there were a total of 3 donations. Jeez. And the first 4 hours is when you get all your donations, and there was 3. And one of the guys wrote in. He says, "Hey, I got in after the newsletter, before the second newsletter," and I said, "Yeah, you were number 3." It was one of the guy. It was a guy at $50 and a woman at 30, and this guy, I think, who sent the note was like 25.
It was uncharacteristic for the response we typically get.
Yeah, it was very, very ridiculous. And so I wrote this nasty note. And which picked it up, of course. I do this. This note has come out every so often when something like this happens. First time this year, that's for sure. And so I was irked about it, and and I got a lot of interesting mail back. A lot of guys said, "Well, I didn't get the news. This is the first time it went to spam. I got a blank newsletter." One guy sends.
Huh.
And so I wrote this little thing about, kind of say, well, MailChimp, maybe, who knows, but I don't think so, because we're not really InfoWars by any means.
But it's possible. I mean, that was the first thing I said in the car.
A shadow send, where they send some of them out and some of them don't.
Could be. John, all it takes, when you can click unsubscribe, and you can report as you never subscribed, I hate it, it's spam. There's a whole bunch of things you can say, and MailChimp will take action. We know they do. So I was like, I said to Tina, it's possible. It's not that hard to, all you have to do is find a clip and it could be a total misdirection out of context. And I'm like, these guys are a-holes. Don't let them use our servers. It could happen.
It's always possible.
It's not like that we wouldn't be able to survive without it. And, luckily actually, it made me think, because, upon arrival in the common law condo, there was a package for me from Sir Peepslayer, Brandon. He had a really funny note, mainly because he was high when he wrote it. It was a book and 2 packs of rolling papers. But in the book, which is East of Eden by John Steinbeck.
It's a good book.
And in his note, he says, "Finding your signal amongst the noise has improved the life of me and many others. Thank you so much for your courage." And then I start seeing donation notes coming in regarding the second newsletters that you sent. And of course, I also had been in Chicago, hadn't smoked any weed. I did take my vape, but the coil burned out after 4 tokes. Don't you hate it when that happens? So, so now
is it called a toke when you take an inhale from a vape?
It is in my world.
A toke, really?
It is in my world.
Yeah, well.
So I'm getting real clarity here. And I we have built up something very valuable, John, because just reading these notes. Now we have, the Value for Value network that we have. It's a network that understands what action is needed to sustain and grow. And let me explain this. So we're like a hub. It's a hub role that we're playing. Some of it through these messages that people send in with donations. In this case, the messages are about donations, but a lot of topics that we discuss on the show originate in the donation segment. A lot of things. People send in notes responding to other people's comments. And regardless of how effective karma and rain sticks are, it is an accepted and valued action, or maybe even transaction, within our Value for Value network. So a lot of this runs in multiple layers on our stack on the physical internet, and I started to write stuff down, what we have in our network. We have our producer maintained infrastructure with a team, Sir Void Zero, Sir Bemrose, Airner, I'm forgetting many others. We've got our own storage and delivery. We've got the troll room, noagendasocial.com. We have some organic form of conduct policy with producers who take on the responsibility to maintain the overall quality of our product. All, actions of value, which makes the No Agenda Show podcast more than just a podcast.
And don't forget the artists.
Well, here we go. We have
the radio station.
I wrote them down. We have at least 50 maintained No Agenda Stream. We have at least 50 maintained applications, web and otherwise. We have the Art Generator, No Agenda Player, No Agenda Search. We have Dave Jones, who continues to build on the original Freedom Controller that takes all of our data, turns it into show notes, and archives them in multiple formats that are machine readable. Other web applications access this, the content, the data, use it for all kinds of stuff. We have meta sites like noagendaentertainment.com. We have transcriptions, alert networks like the Bat Single, audio producers, songwriters, musicians, DJs, mixers, often collaborating amongst themselves. Dude's name Ben, Dudette's name Bernadette, dude's name Mohammed. We got
Scouts.
We got Eagle Scouts, Knights, Dames, Barons, Baronets, Viscount, Viscountesses, Dukes, Grand Dukes. Help me, John. I can't remember all the peerage. Anonymous donors, spooks, bankers, doctors, nurses, airmen, airwomen, business, politicians. We have every non-member of the social justice warrior LGBTQIAAP community represented. And we have shows that started as a part of the network.
We have shows. Don't forget there's shows.
DH Unplugged, Drimerica, Rhino the Bearded, Congressional Dish, Nick the Rat, Rock and Roll Geek. I know I'm forgetting a lot. It doesn't matter because you can't just jump into this network like we used to contract or hire people at Podshow or Mevio or any other content network, because no one owns this. No one really runs it as an individual. It just is. And you build up your value by participating. And it takes time, but my experience is that when you participate in the Value for Value Network in the correct manner, you will receive exactly what you need to get out of it. I know that's the way it is for me. I don't know if you feel the same, but we put a lot in, and I think we get out what we deserve. So the network, again, it utilizes the physical computer network, no different from social networks, just the internet. It's a network of tens of thousands of nodes with expertise in almost any field imaginable. We understand how to connect, interact, and exchange information in a productive manner for all. That's why we're all producers. And you and I, John, are running this shit out of a closet and a desk drawer.
Pretty much.
This is legacy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
holy.
going to write a book about it.
No, it's something to continue to build, and it will be around long after we're gone. These shows all have their own pieces within the network. It really hit me. Again, the weed was good too, but I mean, we're like a router in this network, a big one, but there's others forming. Anyway, that's my rant for the day.
Well, I think we should then play my other ISO, the lip reading redux.
I guess it's a perfect closer.
Wait a minute. Roast beef for sale, marriages for lemonade. It's all we will get.
Thanks, John. I stayed up until 1:30 writing that.
Oh, I thought it was off the cuff. Now, the funny thing about the second donation note, what it did, because I've never seen this before. We have done every once in a while I do a second note because I don't think the thing got through because it was like where there's nobody cares. Is this time we had like 11 associate executive producers coming out of the blue.
Well, let me first thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, John C. What the C stands for? Chicago was wet. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. In the morning to all the ships and sea boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
Yes, and of course, in the morning to the troll room, noagendastream.com, where everybody is there, as usual, doing their important jobs as part of the Value for Value Network, and also in the morning to Nick the Rat, who brought us outstanding artwork for episode 1062, titled that AI Zombies. And this was the graphic representation of the target on my head with my Bluetooth hearing aids for easy targeting.
Easy pick off.
Easy locating and targeting. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com. We just talked about how valuable that is. And thank you very much, Nick the Rat.
So I was talking about that with your little very heartwarming spiel. Mimi says to me, she says, "What happened?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She says, "The Facebook group has gone crazy."
Oh, really? Oh, geez.
And I said, "I don't care."
Is that not a part of the Value for Value Network?
I don't know. They're the ones who had this idea of doing a special offer, and we helped them a little bit. And they didn't accomplish much
because they're off network, John. They're off network. That's why you got to get on network.
Well, they're on a network. Yeah. I don't know what.
Well, but the Facebook group, by definition, is off network because you can't just access it unless you're a member of some other network.
Good point.
See?
Yeah, I can't access it. I don't know what they're doing. And you quit.
Yeah, I can't access it.
And I've been waiting for you to rejoin, but apparently you're going to prove me wrong.
I sure am.
We'll see. Brian Martin, I want to thank him, $350. He's our top donor from Parkland, Florida. I'm a first-time donor. I feel that a baptismal de-douching is in order.
Okay, hold on. Let me get everything all set up here. Baptismal.
You've been de-douched.
2 months ago, I was turned on to your show by a coworker when I told him that I'd long ago abandoned the M5M since they had long ago given up on balanced truth. By the way, I got a couple of notes for a while, over the last few months. What is M5M? What's M5M? And it's Hacksaw for MSM. Okay.
Yes.
Somebody brought it up.
Which is abbreviation for mainstream media.
So now it's code.
Yes.
Since they had long ago given up on the balanced truth, as we noted with these reports from Tom Yamas.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, I had wished that a show to break apart the media was exactly what the world needed, while there are times where I think you go off the rails a bit.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
For the most part, you are right on target. I liken to the feeling of a shower after not bathing for a few days. Media and government are the dirt, and you are the
grime. It's a layer of grime that we help wash off. M5M grime.
Please give me anything else sharp in there, all gold, followed by a Dana Loesch. What's wrong with you? Rounded off by Space Force.
R-E-S-P-I-C-T. There's something wrong with you. There's something seriously wrong with
wrong
you.
One.
Space Force.
Why is that the wrong one?
You've got karma.
It's a good one, though.
It was the clip about being wrong, and it was the wrong clip. Let me just see if I do have it somewhere, don't I?
Yeah, you finished the show with it.
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
you got a good one in there. I thought that was
That
better.
was good. It was a good one, too. Yeah.
Roger Boots in Mechanicsville, Iowa, $333. I had a hell of a time with PayPal. Couldn't figure out how to do pop money. You don't do pop money with PayPal. It's a different system. Only took a couple of hours, but Sir Roger Boots coming through. I don't know what the deal was with that, but we need to discuss it. I think I'll have to put something in a newsletter describing
how it works. Yeah,
the different mechanisms out there. We use PayPal primarily, just straight up. Yeah. Norman Walls in Kailua Kona, 333. You guys finally shamed me into donating. My daughter Jay looks at that note. That's one you saw coming back, and she says, "Wow, harsh,
legit harsh, bro."
And I said, "You got to do what you got to do." Mm-hmm. And it resulted in finally Norman Walls coming on board. It's about time.
Yes.
Keep up the good work. A de-douching and a little L Sharpton respect.
You've been de-douched.
He's getting lunch at Chipotle.
Sing along.
The tortillas
in the race.
Kim Kardashian, Sigourney Weaver, Rush, R-E-S-P-I-C-T. They're all jitty.
You've got karma.
It is a favorite.
What I like is the word tortise.
Tortise, the tortise in the race. Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. William Alston in Baltimore, Maryland, 333. There's no note and there's no email from an Alston anyway. I'll look around, or William can send us something separately. Okay. Kevin Thomas, Sir Kevlar in Smyrna, Georgia, $300 ITM. That's what he says.
ITM.
ITM to you. Wow. Oh, there we go. Sir Kevin. Oh, that was Sir Kevlar. And this one, I see what happened. Sir Ducifer.
Sir Ducifer. He's big time producer. Big time producer here in Austin, Texas. Producer of multiple programs, not just ours.
25510.
Mm-hmm.
Night of Four Strings, Funk, Four Kids, and Time Travel. Excellent words on the Democrat vote drive campaign rotation for the upcoming election cycles, Mr. Dvorak. It's reason for my support.
Oh, wait. Before you continue, I want to thank Craig Rogers, who registered TrumpRotation.com, which points to the list.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Craig.
Did he send you a note? Because I had that set up.
That's all I got. Oh, I'm sorry. That's all I got. I didn't. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very. Now you can just do TrumpRotation.com and boom, you're there.
Yeah.
It just forwards to the weird HTM.
.hc. Well, that's not weird. That's our culture.
But anyway, vote the rotations, and the essay was about the impeachment cycle. It's a reason for my support. All hats off to the recent jingles and end of show mixes. Adam, continue with your memes, even if John seems disinterested. And the OTG segments will age like fine wine. This double nickels on the dime on top of 2 C's is a token of my appreciation of the work you both do. Please play Sharpton Respect.
Yes.
Little Girl Yay. We can play that same one again. We can listen to it over and over. Little Girl Yay, Train Horn Guy, and Goat Karma with a wolf howl for all.
And you want the longer okay, that's good. I was going to do shorty. Yeah, sure. Hell yeah.
It's Tortise.
The Tortise in the hair. Huh!
He's getting lunch at Chipotle. The Tortise in the race. Kim Kardashian, Sigourney Weaver, Rush. R-E-S-P-I-C-T. They're all jitty with it. R-E-S-P-I-C-T. There's no real conflict. Resist. We much. Resist. We much. We must. And we will much about that. Be committed.
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn! You've got karma.
Eric Crowley, Parts Unknown, $252.52. Recent episodes have been some of the best in my 4 years of listening. Ooh. Keep up the great work. Request jobs, karma.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Baroness of Kendall County, Dame Judy Schwartz, $250 in Bernie, Texas. Is that right?
Bernie, Texas, correct.
Bernie, Texas. No note there except for her name.
Now she says karma for all is what she requests. Says it right there.
You've got karma.
Dave Kaplan, Hunters Hill, New South Wales, Australia, $244.20. Listener since 2014, first donation, so please de-douche me.
Okey-doke.
You've been de-douched.
My first donation is supposed to be 333.33, making him we have to make sure to push him to executive producer because we've made the decision that Australian dollars are equivalent.
Right. Equivalent, yep.
Which today, according to an evil sauce, Google is 244.20. As 4 and 2 are my favorite numbers and 33 is magic. Excuse me, these are clear signs I need to donate. Due to PayPal and other international banking rip-off slaves reasons, it's actually costing me more like $350.
Unbelievable.
It's a scam.
Yeah.
Scam.
Love
the show. Great for listening and comprehension. And in today's crazy world, sanity. It's my best source of news. And as your U.S. and my Australian MSMs are effing useless. Keep up the great work, please. My plan is to be Sir Capo of the Gunya Beach down under someday in the not too distant future. Question. Here's another. This is good questions to ask because people seem to. They miss. I don't know. We explain it over and over, but there still gets missed.
Yeah. Well,
what is a dude named Ben?
A dude named Ben. Yes. Please explain.
You have the clip?
I do. Dude named Ben came up when it was Jason Chaffetz, I believe, was grilling Lois Werner from the IRS, who said that her emails had been deleted, didn't know where they went, and didn't really talk to anyone in IT because, as we know on this show, the people, the admins who really run the world and have it in control are disrespected by front office. Just disrespected, treated like morons often, and smelly little beasts down in the basement. And then this happened. Oh.
Yeah. And that shocked us all.
It did. And we went, wow. Holy crap. Is this it?
It is the closest the Treasury to...
No, that's not it either. Oh, shoot! This pisses me off. Is it? Oh.
We're going to wait until you find it.
Yeah, we're going to wait. We wait until I find it. Absolutely. But it was, what's his face? That's why I don't understand. Why is it
It
not?
was Chaffee.
I think his first name may have been Ben.
So a guy named Ben, a dude named Ben.
There you go. No, that was Chaffetz.
I mean, Chaffetz,
yeah.
I think his first name
was grilling this woman, and it was about the Lois Lerner episode.
It was Lois Lerner. She's the one that...
Oh, was it Lois?
Yeah,
actually?
It was Lois Lerner, yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
And she said, I don't know, just some guy named Ben. I don't know who the hell works in IT. And he says...
I think his first name may have been Ben.
So a guy named Ben, a dude named Ben.
He's just a dude named Ben. Just a dude named Ben. Just a dude named Ben.
He's just a dude named Ben.
That's where dude named Ben comes from.
Yes.
Baron Craig Kuttner in Norfolk. And by the way, again, we just played the clip and somebody starts calling themselves dude named Ben. It caught on.
Yeah.
It wasn't our idea to make it a meme.
None of this shit is our idea, John. None of it.
Baron Craig Kuttner in Norwalk, Connecticut, 23457. This is weird because we have two of these 23457s when you think it should be 23456. Anyway, responding to the call to arms to rescue the BPITU, America can't let the M5M win this battle royale. Stop reading this and get back to the show. Turn down speakers. Club 33, 69 dudes. Also get some house selling karma. That's what I need, he says.
Club 33. Do we have a Club 33 jingle? I don't think we have a Club 33 jingle.
I don't know. No, I don't think maybe
what's the other thing he's asking? Well, I can do
69 dudes and some house selling karma.
Yeah, okay. I think I can do 6969. Let's see. Yes, and house selling karma. Give it a shot. See how far we get.
Turn down your speakers! Straight from Reseda, here she is, Raven. Give it up. 69.
Well, something like that.
You've got karma.
Wasn't the Bill and Ted, but close enough.
Not quite. Okay, now we have, I'm just doing a quick search because somebody requested they put their email in here, which I won't read out loud. Donation note, August 24th. This would be it. Okay. I have to... These are the long notes.
Mail, yeah.
Please keep it to Paul, 233-37, and he sends a note, and I have the note on the other screen. Today I'll be joining the roundtable accounting below. Please knight me as Sir Up. Hope it's not someone else. Can I get some chocolate and peanut butter at the roundtable?
Okay, chocolate and peanut butter, putting it on the list for staff to get that ready.
That's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can make a candy bar with that theory. Jingles, please. Since vaccine water seems to stop making headlines, how about a clip of her? Triple goat karma. Now, he has some comments after those are the jingles. Two things. Potentially a fun slogan for the M5M along the lines of it bleeds, it leads. If you scare them, you can sail them.
Sail them?
That's what it says, but I think it means sell them. Scare them something.
Yeah, scare them, sell them probably. Yeah.
I have a thought about why so many people are amygdala bloated. News, science, and politics is the new religion. I'm not in the camp saying science isn't true, even though I identify as a Christian. What I'm saying is that people have always needed to belong to something bigger than themselves. Kingdoms, countries, trades, such as fishermen, and religion. Although it's really screwed a lot of things up over the edges, have all of them have generally filled that role. With religion, people would gather weekly together, and if they didn't believe, they would belong.
Right.
Society as a whole doesn't have that. Facebag and Twitter proclaim to fill this, but it's empty, as you know. Mm-hmm. Even you two have your bi-weekly ritual with each other that you let us all in on.
That's one way of looking at it, for sure.
Now, I don't know that he's on the list to be knighted.
Yes, he is. Sir Up? Yeah, he is.
Syrup.
Yeah,
okay.
He is.
I get it. Syrup.
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 My millennials, stay woke.
You've got karma.
Triple goat karma.
Ever heard of it? Stephanie Batters in Tiverton, Rhode Island, $200.70. I donate today to celebrate my second wedding anniversary with my smoking hot husband, Sir Knives of the Providence Plantations.
And they never had a fight.
On 8/27. $200.70 is a nod toward when we started dating in 2007, shortly after No Agenda's birthday.
I think I remember this. I think. Maybe not.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This is my first donation. But Sir Knives donated $230.33 toward my damehood for show 1050 in honor of his 30th birthday in July. Unfortunately, he didn't get shout out for his Friday the 13th birthday.
Really?
Even after I sent Adam an error email with the hope he'd get a belated shout out during show 1051.
Oh, no.
Might have been crappy luck on a superstitious day, but it was Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But I feel I have to call out Adam as a douchebag.
Douchebag.
Sorry, Adam.
No, it's a deserved douching.
You got it. Uh-oh. However, I'd like to, However, I'd like to de-douche both Adam and myself if you kindly play the Russian Connection jingle and give us goat karma for a healthy, lifelong marriage. I'll also take a Space Force if it's not too much to toss that in. I look forward to one day earning my seat at the round table, but for now, I'm happy to support the best podcast in the universe and surprise the man I love during our weekly No Agenda Sunday brunch. As you may know, millennials are known for being obsessed with brunch. It's true.
De-douche.
You've been de-douched.
It's true.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I have that for you, of course.
There's so many memes about Russia and what Trump is trying to hide. Conway and Spicer say things are nicer than what they're willing to confide. So many dudes think that this is just fake news. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it. The Russia connection, the Donald, the Putin, and the
I love this.
Space Force.
You've got karma.
Hey, you know, we forget about things. I forgot about that one entirely.
I forgot about that one, too. It's a good one. Anyway, Stephanie Batters, she battered you on that one. Joshua Kruger in Oakfield, Wisconsin, $200. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your show. The new level of critical thinking you've taught me and the balanced perspective on the world around us that you provide have been invaluable. I've become pretty steady listener since the campaign season. I've been wanting to donate for a while now, especially since I've become increasingly aware of the very real benefit that I get from listening to your show. Not only can I analyze everything in life much better, I am also able to teach it to my children, which is far more important to me. I listen on and off with my brother, Jesse, douchebag.
Uh-oh.
Douchebag.
Starting about 10 years ago, but only when I was at his place. At that time, I found the waking process a little frightening and somewhat painful as you made me aware of the deceit behind everything we see and hear. The deceit behind everything we see and hear. It was a little shocking and abrupt. Now I can't take anything at face value. I find myself questioning everything and looking for the motivation behind it. People are generally lazy, and if we take the effort to do or say something, it took something to motivate us. I like to wonder what it is. I finally decided to donate when you guys were talking about the palindrome 8118, which is the birthday of my 8th and most recent human resource. I know I don't like the feeling of not getting paid for my work, which did happen once this year. And whenever I'm listening, I can't fully enjoy it because I feel like a douchebag. I was surprised when I looked at your donation page. There are plenty of low dollar options, and these add up. I know they do on my credit card statement. Listeners, not only are we doing ourselves a favor by donating and keeping John and Adam around for our listening pleasure, but we are directly helping spread the truth and light to those around us, and that is a worthwhile cause. I don't need any karma. Hopefully this will be karma enough and help money stop flowing. Help money stop flowing through my hands like water.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Whenever I feel like I should have more money at the end of the month, I think I'm kind of stealing content from John and Adam, and that's my karma. Maybe play, oh my God, did you hear that horn? Thank you, and keep up the fantastic work.
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
By the way, I want to thank Walter Ostler. He was the producer who created the Russian Connection song.
It's excellent.
Yeah, it is.
Sir Patrick of the Pugner Order, Carnation, Washington, $200. Really enjoyed Adam's net neutrality commentary lately. Keep up the good fight.
Thank you.
Christopher Blanco in Mayfield Heights, Ohio, $200. And there's a birthday here somewhere.
Yes.
Happy birthday, my smoking hot wife, Dame Ashley, Lady of the Lake, on August 28th. Note, after 6 months of experiencing joblessness, I'm finally experiencing job fullness.
Yes.
And thought it was time to donate. At my new job, I'm working with a large group of millennials.
I think, like geese or gander. Millennials is a goop.
A
goop of millennials. Okay.
But it's a funny idea. A large goop of millennials for the first time. And let me tell you, I think you said goop of millennials.
That's what I said, goop. A goop of millennials. Yeah.
Not just a goop.
No, goop of millennials.
Let me tell you, it's an experience. They probably like brunch. I'm sure of that. Some of them come to work complete with blankets and pillows that they stuff around themselves in their chairs. Some play with fidget spinners, putty, and kinetic sand. And a lot of them don't know how to look you in the eye when they speak to you.
God.
The job is great otherwise. Okay.
Wow. First of all, wow. Wow.
The last season of the Kimmy Schmidt show, which is only 6 episodes long, the first episode addresses this.
Yes.
And I would recommend that.
Very good.
Don't you think? You saw it.
Definitely. Yeah. Upon your recommendation. Totally spot on.
Yeah. The job is great otherwise. So hopefully I can put up with the millennial antics long enough to make an impact here. I look forward to the daily drive to listen to the best podcast in the universe and my daily dose of sanity. Keep up the good works. No jingles, no karma.
Gee, thank you very much, Christopher Blanco. Wow, what a hero that guy is. Now, that's a hero.
Well, he's probably going to be in the same situation Kimmy Schmidt was in that first episode.
But what is kinetic sand, and how do I get my hands on some? What is that?
I never heard of that one.
I like it.
Just look it up. I bet you look up kinetic sand in Amazon.
I'm afraid to. I'm not going to look at. Let's just get the donations done. I'm not looking up any.
Okay, last donation, Sir Daniel Baronet of the Bayonet in Boise, Idaho, $200. Things may have changed by the time you read this mail on Sunday. I hope so. But John's follow-up to the newsletter was disturbing. 3 people, really? Well, it's been a while. That was my cue to donate. I don't know what the rest of the producers about them, but I don't know what I would do without no agenda. Without the show, I'd have no respite.
Respect.
From the MSM bullcrap, and my amygdala would be swollen beyond recovery. Step up and contribute. This donation should make me a baronet. I don't know if they got territory and a Sir A. Rydstad has already claimed the Treasure Valley, so I'll need to do some thinking about it. I would like a title change to Sir Daniel Baronet of the Bayonet.
I don't think that's on the list, actually. Let me put that.
It is now.
Yeah.
I'm moving this month, I can see why. So I could have a shot at moving karma and a chaser of relationship karma and being a millennial. How's that brunch doing? And I need some Maxine's My Millennial Stay Woke. Thank you both for your courage and we have a lot of millennials who listen to the show, and for some reason they get a kick out of us discussing them.
It's part of
these 2 old guys.
It's part of it.
Thank you for your courage and passion, love and light. And he's got a little PS for me.
Okay, so he needs a stay woke and a karma? Huh?
Yeah, stay woke and moving karma.
My millennials, stay woke.
You've got karma.
Gotcha.
And that concludes our executive and associate executive producers who, believe me, did not exist before that little note was sent out, except for maybe two of them. And I want to thank them for contributing to show 1063.
Well, and I want what I said before. Thank you very much for understanding how the network functions, and it comes back. It always does. It's a very beautiful thing. I have no idea how it happened, but I can now recognize it. And we will be thanking more people, $50 and above.
Magic!
It is. Look, a bolt appeared.
Magic!
And these, of course, are titles that are real and can be used anywhere credits are accepted. And as you can read, some people now are experiencing job fullness when they put it on their LinkedIn profile. So give that a shot. And remember, we have another show coming up for you on Thursday. And you can remember us at
Dvorak.org/NA.
Feeling pretty good about that action, though. Thank you all so much. But continue to go out there and propagate.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, Slay.
Yay. So I did not see these clips in your clip list, which means you probably didn't see it and didn't hear about it. And I'm happy because I pulled 3 clips from the Bill Maher show with John Brennan as guest.
No. Spooktacular.
No. Alternative Universe Unhinged is what it was. And in fact, in order to actually be a part of this, we have to do it.
Oh, no.
Buckle in.
Buckle
in. Here we go. We're driving. We're going to the alternate universe.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
America. Transitioning now.
Grab the dog.
Choose God. Fuck you.
Woo! Oh.
Work.
A lot of smoke. The machine's a bit rusty.
The fires in California. Maybe we had to go through the smoke. I'm not sure.
I don't know, or just the machine is rusty. One of the two.
Yeah, could be.
So John Brennan comes on as the first. Welcome to the alternate reality. By the way, this is
he wasn't on the panel. He was He was the guest.
He was the guest up front. Did you see it by any chance?
No.
Okay.
I didn't want to watch.
Good. To me, this was just all alternative universe, and just like those misdirections you played earlier from ABC, when you're just sitting there at home on a Friday night watching the Bill Maher show, you're thinking, you could be bamboozled by this. You would, and why not? He's the director of CIA, or former director. But you know what I mean. People are like, hey, they have respect for this. People are
before you go on.
Yes, sir.
Because I didn't see it. Did Bill Maher ask him the question? Because Bill Maher, we know, hates Muslims. Did he ask him if he was a Muslim?
No, I think he forgot. He ran out of time. Ran out of time. But he asked him just about everything else. And, of course, we start off with this security clearance business and just how horrible this is that Trump has taken away his clearance. And we need to clear up the air a little bit about his use of his clearance.
You know, some people on the right have accused you of wanting to monetize. That's their argument against you. You're not here to monetize anything, are you, John?
No, I am not. I didn't ask to keep my security.
No. He's over at NBC to monetize his clearance, isn't he? He doesn't monetize it on HBO. It's just NBC.
No, he monetizes it at MSNBC mostly.
All of NBC News, yes.
Clearances. Former directors don't do that. We keep those clearances because sometimes those in government want to be able to avail themselves of our experiences, our expertise, our knowledge about certain issues. So people serve on commissions. Sometimes they serve on private sector boards, whatever. But this is the first time in 38 years that I haven't had a security clearance. And the basis for the revocation is bogus.
Bogus?
Mr. Trump and his administration didn't adhere even to the process that they reaffirmed last year. And the politicization of security clearances, either the granting or the revocation, is a real threat to our national security, which is why so many people came out and opposed his action. And so I certainly hope...
So many people came out for you.
Oh, the big names.
Admiral McRaven said...
Hold on. Stop the tape.
You can stop it as often as you want, John. These are long clips.
This left-wing audience, radical progressives that love Bill Maher, are clapping and hooting. And one thing is, they want the security state so bad.
Yes, give it to me.
They want a bunch of spooks everywhere spying on everyone. Is this what This is what they're indicating?
Affirmative.
Oh my God.
Admiral McRaven said. He said, please revoke my security clearance. It would be an honor, considering what you did to Brennan. Yeah, so everybody with a brain is on your side. It's interesting, Jared and Ivanka still have clearances. You, one of the guys who was the architect of getting bin Laden, does not.
And where are those? You should have. By the way, can we see those pictures already? Can we see those pictures of the burial at sea? I wouldn't mind. Can we see the pictures of bin Laden shot through the head? I wouldn't mind. No one asks about those anymore, do they? Remember, we couldn't show them. We have them, but we can't show them to you because Muslims might get angry. Muslims might get angry. That's what it was. Come on. Yeah. That's what it was.
Well, it seems as though Rand Paul was the one who put this idea.
Yes.
Donald Trump.
I didn't know that. Did Rand Paul start this?
Start what?
The strip them of their clearance or the monetizing clearance.
I think so. I think you might be right.
Oh, well, bad Rand Paul.
Well, it seems as though Rand Paul was the one who put this idea.
Yes.
Donald Trump's head. And
dead to me, Rand Paul.
Yeah. Well, Rand Paul has never served on the Intelligence Committee. He knows not of which
he's.
Yes, he's dead to me. Yes.
What?
I mean, you say that about someone who really, really double crosses you personally, maybe. Like, that person's dead to me. But in this case, yeah.
Rand Paul's the only guy that could go on that show and actually hold his own. And Maher liked him. Now he's dead to him because John Brennan lost his security clearance and Maher is defending John. What is this? Is Dimension B craziness?
Were you not in the machine when we came over here?
I'm just saying. It's just I've never seen it this bad.
Rand Paul.
Well,
maybe
Rand
this
Paul
counts for the smoke.
Yeah, and the dog doesn't look too good, actually. He's got an arched back. He might puke.
Never served on the Intelligence Committee. He knows not of which he speaks, but yet he...
Isn't that he knows not? Is that Shakespeare? Is he quoting Shakespeare now? He knows not of what he speaks.
Donald Duck for all I know.
Rand Paul.
Well, Rand Paul has never served on the Intelligence Committee. He knows not of which he speaks, but yet he has this impression...
Yes, he knows not of what he speaks.
Monetizing security clearances, so he continues to spout out on these issues. But again, I believe very strongly in the principle that national security is one of the most sacred and solemn professions in this government. And every American citizen deserves to have national security professionals, intelligence professionals, who are not going to be political, not going to be politicized, and no president ever.
Not going to be political. All this John Brennan did since the day he got out is bitch and moan politically about Trump. Didn't he say they're not going to be political?
J'accuse dessus.
Oh, man.
In this government. And
remember, John, if at any point you get nauseous in Dimension B, just look at the ground and it will all go away.
Every American citizen deserves to have national security professionals, intelligence professionals, who are not going to be political, not going to be politicized, and no president ever should take that capability away from them.
Ever. Everyone's just jitty with it. Now, Brennan on the M5M, and I do not consider this to be M5M, it's HBO, has walked back his treasonous statement. What Trump is doing exceeds treasonous. So what does he do here?
By the way, what's beyond treason? If it exceeds treasonous, what's beyond? What is the next step beside treason? Is treason exceeds treason?
Hitler can't be anything else but Hitler. Just Hitler.
Yes. I just kind of I just want to like to know what exceeds treasonous means.
Actually, I think, did he say beyond treason or exceed?
Yeah, something like that. So it's beyond. It's something.
Well, he's going to quote himself again, and he's not going to double down. He's going to triple down.
You know, I've been having a hell of a time here on this show trying to get my guests to say the word treason. I think the president
Is that how the show works? Like in the pre-interview? Hi, I'm Bill. Great for being on the show. Listen, I'm having a hard time with this. I'd really love it. Could you just say Trump is treasonous just while somewhere during the show, please? Seems to be hard for him to do that.
You know, I've been having a hell of a time here on this show trying to get my guests to say the word treason. I think the president is guilty of that, and you used terms like that. You said after Helsinki, it was nothing short of treasonous, which sounds to me like treasonous. And then I noticed this last week. Some people tried to get you to take it back, and you wouldn't. And again, I don't understand.
He sure did. He said it was his Irish or whatever. Oh, he sure did. And so I guess he didn't say beyond treason. He said nothing short of.
Well, I don't know. We'd have to get the tweet in front of us.
Well, words matter.
But he did walk it back, and now he's saying he didn't walk it back?
Mm-hmm. And why people are so reluctant. I get it. It's a scary word. It's like, don't break this glass case unless you need But when it's time to break the glass case, don't not do it just because it's a glass case.
Yes, and I'm not an official of the Department of Justice where I'm issuing an indictment of Donald Trump on treason. Oh. But there are two principal reasons why I use that term. One is that I think I exhausted all the other adjectives in the English language to describe Donald Trump's failure to fulfill his responsibilities as President of the United States, number one. Number two, but when I saw him on that stage in Helsinki, failing to be able to say to the world and to Vladimir Putin, Russia tried to interfere in our election. It never should have happened. It never should happen again. And if it does, Russia's going to pay some very severe consequences as a result. But he didn't do that. And so treasonous is defined as a betrayal of trust as well as aiding and abetting the enemy. And so that was the word that came to my mind. Now, I wasn't expecting Vladimir Putin to say, okay, you caught me. He's going to continue to deny this. But this was an opportunity for Donald Trump to fulfill his responsibilities to say, Russia, cut this out. Don't do it again. And if you do it, you're going to pay a cost.
Kind of like what he did with North Korea, I guess. But that wasn't the right way to do it either. It's so confusing.
And be able to say to everybody.
Yes. Oh, yes. Go, Brent. Go, Brent.
And if he said that, he could have said, now, though, we have to work, United States and Russia, to be able to try to enhance stability and security around the globe. There are important things for the United States and Russia to do. I am very much supportive of trying to get relations between the two countries back on track. Critically important, the two largest nuclear superpowers in the world, but we cannot ignore what it is that the Russians try to do. And so when Donald Trump failed to do that.
So he wants to get things back on track. So his way of doing it is going to Russia and just standing there at the podium and insulting the guy?
Yeah, that's what he should have done. Yeah, he didn't do it right.
Just nuclear superpowers.
He's holding it wrong.
But we cannot ignore what it is that the Russians try to do. And so when Donald Trump failed to do that, I was irate because I know how hard that professionals here in the intelligence community work to try.
Yeah, here's what he starts to come unglued here.
Keep this country strong and safe. And for Donald Trump to be up there and to fail to say that,
he takes their side and not ours. That's a traitor. He calls you a lowlife. You who spent your life defending this country, especially after 9/11.
No. He spent his life pushing pencils.
We had all sorts of problems, and it could have gone way worse than it did. He said about General Clapper, is he a general?
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
yes,
that they got to him. Like you could get to a guy like that.
No, that's true. You don't need to. He's an idiot all by himself.
It's not on our...
Wait a minute. Now we're defending Clapper and the fact that he lied before Congress. Bold-faced lie. We know that it's a fact.
He even admits that he kind of did that.
And he admits it. But now Maher's defending him too?
Yes,
the guy's immutable. The guy he's a rock.
It did. He said about General Clapper, is he a general?
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
yes.
That they got to him. Like you could get to a guy like that. It's not on our side. No. You're not on our side. You are a traitor if you're attacking our generals and admirals and people who keep us safe. It's not that much more complicated than that to me.
And I'm proud to stand with Bill McRaven and Jim Clapper and Mike Cade and all the others. The ones who are speaking out.
Oh, yes. Proud. Stand with them. Stand with them. Stand with them. All I stand with them.
I didn't want to speak out after I left the government. I wanted to be able to retire and be able to spend time with family.
Oh, yeah, I play with the grandkids. But I had to leave the grandkids alone to defend the country.
But this is a very abnormal time. This is a very abnormal presidency. And the stakes are so high. That's why I've decided to speak out and be outspoken.
And I can see it's not easy for you.
It's not.
I see it. Believe me, I've been talking to people on TV for 25 years. I can see when it's not easy. And people don't generally go into the CIA for publicity.
That was funny. Bill Maher.
Really tell that to Philip Mudd and all these people that come out and they're on all these different M5M networks and they're all noted as CIA former or even current CIA analysts.
Operatives.
They never say operatives, but they use analyst a lot. And it's like, there is a little cachet to that.
Of course there's cachet to it.
Well, he says there's none.
In all government jobs, you can get out, and if you don't do it right, you can make hay out of it. You can spin gold out of yarn. Final clip. This is where Brennan goes into full Trump rotation, and takes it to, I think, actually a dangerous thing to say, because when you say these things in Dimension B, to me, it's equal to yelling fire in a crowded movie theater.
He's taken a page out of the playbook of autocrats and authoritarians around the world who try to co-opt judiciaries, who try to delegitimize the free press, who try to use intelligence security services to go after their rivals. Mm-hmm. So Donald Trump is the typical authoritarian who is trying to control power. And as he becomes more desperate, and I think that's what we're seeing now, because the walls are closing in on him, as all the people who used to work with him are now cooperating or testifying about what happened.
Yeah! Flipping!
So I've been angry because we have somebody in the Oval Office who has really denigrated the office of the presidency. His dishonesty,
he's
unethical, he doesn't have principles. And I am very concerned, though. More than angry, I'm worried. Because now we are in a crisis. And unfortunately, the Republicans, John McCain, a national treasure. Our thoughts and prayers go out to John McCain and his family. I got into some real Donnybrook fights with John McCain.
Donnybrook fights?
Yeah.
What's a Donnybrook fight?
It's just a
phrase from the Shays.
Donnybrook is like a major fight. It's just a fight, but was
Donnybrook a guy, a boxer?
I think Donnybrook fight might actually be redundant.
Okay. It's something to be looked up for phrase from the Shays.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to John McCain and his family. I got into some real Donnybrook fights with John McCain over policy. I never once questioned his integrity and his interest in doing what is best for this country.
Well, that's pretty bad for a CIA analyst.
But since John McCain has left the Hill, the Republican spines have gone with him. And there needs to be some reckoning in the Republican Party that we can't allow this to go on.
And we have an election coming up, and I'm trying to convince people.
Kidding.
And it's hard because, a lot of us in the past said this is a very important election and blah, blah, blah. This is the one. I think we are in a crisis that is the third great crisis in American history, more than the Depression. First, of course, the Revolutionary War, whether we would even become a country. Then the Civil War. People usually say then the Depression. I don't think the Depression got at what is most fundamental about this country. It was economic, but I don't think it threatened the rule of law as we have now.
They tried to throw Roosevelt out with a coup.
Oh, I didn't know this.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
Smedley Butler was
Smedley
by
Butler,
the
yes.
and a bunch of Democrats.
Yes,
Same
Smedley
thing's going
Butler.
on now. It's always Democrats trying to overthrow
General Smedley Butler.
General Smedley Butler.
Yes. Oh, you're right.
And they said we want to throw out Roosevelt. We'll disable him. We'll just say he's sick. Put him aside. You take over. And Butler said no. And that was the end of it. And they didn't throw any of these guys in jail. They should have thrown them all in jail. The DuPonts, all a bunch of heavy-hitting, again, billionaire class, as I like to call them, Democrats, which is where the rich people really reside. And they were just, it was horrible. But no, that's fine. Okay, well, leave Roosevelt in.
So Bill Maher is setting Brennan up here with a crisis, the third crisis. The first one was the the Revolutionary War, then we had the
Civil
War, then we had the
Depression,
and now, and wait for Brennan.
War. People usually say then the Depression. I don't think the Depression got at what is most fundamental about this country. It was economic, but I don't think it threatened the rule of law as we have now. Would you rank the crisis we're in now that way?
I would, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, because don't forget, Donald Trump has the authority of the President of the United States in his hands,
right,
in terms of what he can do domestically here as well as what he can do internationally to try to distract attention, whether or not he's going to pursue some type of foreign adventure, military or otherwise.
Right.
But fundamentally, though, what he's doing to this country, he's dividing us. We Americans, as you pointed out, Revolutionary War and Civil War, we fought hard for the freedoms and liberties that we have right now. And so he's dividing Americans. And so I'm really concerned that as he continues to play to his base, he's further dividing us. And I'm really concerned about whether this could spill over into the streets. And so...
Wow. Did he just call for a civil war?
Well, I hope not.
But, to say, I'm concerned this could spill into the streets.
I mean, I don't think it's going to get any worse than that women's march right after Trump just takes office 2 days later.
That's about it.
The pussy hats are on.
Yeah, that's our. I mean, seriously, the fidget spinners are going to grab their muskets, or are they going to bring their kinetic sand to the fight?
That as he continues to play to his base, he's further dividing us. And I'm really concerned about whether this could spill over into the streets.
No, you're further dividing us, you douche.
So I don't know what the principal protagonist in this drama is going to do. But
we're listening to you.
I surely hope that those adults and those people in the White House and in the cabinet and in the Congress are going to recognize that they need to act before there's a real disaster. And by act, I mean whether it's going up to Donald Trump and saying, this has got to stop. You are ruining this country, and we're not going to tolerate it any longer. They cannot turn a blind eye to this. They have to forget about their political affiliation.
Yes.
They need to be right there.
Yes. John, thank you for everything you've done for this country and what you're doing now. It means a lot to all of us.
Well, first of all, somebody that the left does appreciate, and a guy who I also appreciate, Ray McGovern, the CIA guy who's been out and about, bitching and moaning about guys like this. He thinks this guy's running scared from something. There's something up.
Yes, that would
Brennan
be
is the number one target of something, some corruption of some sort that's very high level.
And I think this is his final Hail Mary. I don't know.
Well, he's done a pretty good job of fending off everything. I'm lucky he's got the whole Bill Maher crowd clapping in his favor. This makes zero sense in the scheme of things over the long look at the left wing politics with Maher as one of the cheerleaders. To have this guy getting these kinds of this kind of reaction is very strange. We better get out of this dimension before we have
we have to get the Dramamine.
Are you ready?
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
Hold on, everybody. We're going back.
First.
Remember, look at the ground if you feel nauseous. Here we go.
Grab the dog.
We choose love. Fuck you.
We need to either practice more or that was rough. That was rough. That was a rough trip, rough travel.
So I got a clip. Now, I don't know if this is serious. I think it's not. A little in-between clip here. I think just the guy mocking our train guy who was actually our train guy actually was mocking another train guy who I guess was more sincere. But now there's this guy. This is a 1.5 minute clip. A guy in Canada. And I think there are guys out there like this because I think a lot of people are just bored. A lot of single men, they don't have any women in their lives.
Incels?
Incels. This is an incel action, I think. They just opened a new bridge. I think this is in Saskatchewan or someplace. And this guy's out in his car going over the new bridge.
Going over the new bridge. I'm waiting for this for over 3 years. Oh, super excited. Oh, my heart's pounding. I can feel it through my chest.
Can I ask what bridge this is?
It's some bridge, and I don't know what bridge. It never says what bridge it is, but it's a new bridge that took 3 years to build, and this guy's decided to make a video of himself going over the bridge, and because we all care so much.
Oh, look at this! This is awesome. Oh, I wish I would have got to go last night, but I didn't get a chance to. All right, where do I go? Keep going straight? Oh, it's all new to me. It's like I'm in a new city. I get on my way, white car. You're ruining the experience. Oh, sweet, an underpass. Alright, where is it? Let's see. Lorne Avenue, 2.4 kilometers. Oh, no, I don't know. Oh, I'm excited. I wonder how many lanes there's going to be. There's probably going to be like 20. 20 lanes. Out of my way, white car. Oh, South Saskatchewan River. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah! All right! Woo! Woo! Look at the river! Look at the river! You can't see it, but there's a river! Oh my God! Yeah! Woo! Oh my God! It was everything I dreamed of.
No.
Woo! Oh, I want to do it again. How do I think if I want to do it again? Yeah, that was awesome.
Although not beyond the realm of possibility, it sounded pretty fake. I mean, this is real.
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
Come on. That's a foamer. This guy was foamer light. He wasn't even spittling.
Well,
I appreciate what you're doing with that. Yeah,
I think there's guys like that.
Yeah. Oh, possibly.
And they're usually womanless for a reason.
Yes. All right, since we're doing that kind of stuff, I guess we can do this.
Dogs are adorable, but they lick everything.
I meant this. Or is it?
They've heard?
No. Why is this not working today? Here we go.
Dogs are
No, where's dogs are people too?
Dogs are people too.
Yeah, that kind of ruins my segment.
You kind of like blew that one
I
up.
don't understand why this is not it. Oh, there we go.
Dogs are people too.
There we go. Yeah, you probably saw this story, and thank goodness someone sent me a clip of it, because you just have to hear it to believe it.
They've heard of maternity leave and paternity leave, but what about furternity leave?
Oh, yeah.
As in time off for employees who recently adopted a new furry friend.
Oh, I like this.
I know, right? It's the newest perk being offered by a digital marketing firm in Minneapolis. It lets employees with a new pet work from home for a week.
By the way, kind of a clue, a digital marketing firm. Hello, are you people so stupid?
It lets employees with a new pet work from home for a week. The company says the goal is to celebrate their diverse workforce. This policy doesn't apply to pets in cages or tanks, though. So no goldfish, Dan. I know they're tough to adjust.
No, but I recently adopted a dog, so I would have liked to take a week off.
Yeah, nope, sorry, too late.
Let's do it again. I work at Channel 10.
Dogs are people too.
Furternity leave.
Oh, brother.
We need to have a list of these things, too. Goes with the fidget spinners and the brunch.
Brunch.
Brunch. I like brunch. You have to be a millennial to like brunch.
I've never liked brunch. I've been to
Really?
I've never liked brunch. I mean, it seems to me, is it breakfast? Is it lunch? No, it's in between.
I was
so
like
it's
one
like
thing.
It's like an early lunch or a late breakfast. I never can see they combine it. They add champagne. Oh, you have to have a glass of I don't mind having a glass of champagne in the morning, but I don't usually do it. But with the brunch you have champagne and you have all these different kinds of eggs.
Yeah, that's the thing I like, the champagne part. I like
we have to have eggs Benedict for our brunch. Do they have eggs Benedict? Yeah, they got eggs. Okay, let's go there.
Can't be brunch without the eggs, put an egg on it. Yes. I like the champagne part always. I must admit. Yeah.
Cooks or some cheap champagne and give you a headache you have a headache by one.
By the way, I did it. I went to Chicago without the iPhone.
Oh, yes.
I did it.
Well, that's good. Did you feel better?
Yes, and it was wonderful. It really, the OTG phone, the Kyocera with the Surface Go, which I just want to mention about that. There's something that, Windows has this reputation of being wonky, and it is. But when you have the Windows 10 on hardware, because it's always the problem is always the hardware, and I think, and you know this better than I do, John, but I think that many hardware manufacturers, they have the Windows, and there's all these calls for hardware, and I guess there's drivers and stuff that has to be written for how it sleeps or how it deals with monitors, and and they don't always implement the protocols properly. So you said to me the other day, in fact, with Windows you reboot a lot, and it's because stuff just doesn't work, and then the start menu doesn't go. But when it's on hardware that they were close to the design process or did design, I'm not quite, but it's obviously it's a Microsoft
in-house.
It's in-house.
Yeah, that's the Apple advantage.
Yes, and it is an advantage. It really works. It really does. And I'm sad to say that the Edge browser, well, of course, I'm trying everything out, and I'm sure it's a leaking sieve, but man, that thing really works well on the Edge, on the Surface. It's a very, very slick, fast, lightweight, feels lightweight browser. Even compared with Brave,
it's probably their best.
Yeah. And
it seems to have all kinds of security issues, and I think
tons of
point out a million reasons never to use it.
The only thing I was thinking, though, when it comes to, because Microsoft definitely has an ad-based business, but it seems to me that I could be wrong, but their ad-based business is probably just sheer volume-based. They got basic age and some category slices. I don't think they have anywhere near the access that Google or Facebook or Twitter has. I think these guys are just saying, hey, look, we have all these people actually paying for stuff like Skype, and we still give them ads. These are great people to advertise to.
Yeah, the suckers.
I don't think they're taking all of your information and slicing it. They may be, but I don't know of any business unit at Microsoft that's doing that. Do you?
No. They probably have a clue, know that it's bogus anyway.
Yeah. But it doesn't seem like it's a big part of their future. They don't act that way. So I don't know.
When under Ballmer, they were kind of headed in that direction. I think it's been backed off.
Well, they kicked him out.
Now he runs a basketball team.
Yes. So while we're on the OTG tip...
Heading out for a trek in Gatineau Park is one of the great joys of living in this area. And it's not surprising that tech-savvy hikers are using their phones.
This is from the CBC Broadcast News Network.
To navigate the trails.
And in the Lac Philippe area...
Gatineau Program Officer Rochelle Paquette says relying on just your phone can lead hikers into trouble.
Because cell reception in the park is very spotty at best. And all of a sudden your GPS isn't working, you may get lost, and once lost, it's a lot harder for us to find you and know where you are.
And what's the easiest way to get there?
Paquette recommends that before setting out on a trail, hikers check in at the park's visitor center, where staff can suggest routes that are suited to the hiker's ability, warn about changing weather conditions, and hand over that old-school paper map. Natalie Gauthier of expedition company Great Canadian Trails says hikers have found themselves in dangerous situations by relying on out-of-date GPS maps that didn't include details about terrain conditions or tide changes, or were simply wrong.
Definitely, it's a growing problem, and I think that people forget that their phone has limitations.
Something our intrepid trailblazers have figured out for themselves.
I'm walking around with it, but I don't have service, so I don't know why.
I think people are getting overconfident in having their phone, quite frankly. The GPS systems are only as accurate as the software updates that your applications get.
And so can you see that maybe it's probably still a good idea to pick up a paper map?
You know what? It would be, because I almost dropped my phone in the lake earlier. So it would have been handy to have a paper map, yeah.
If you know how to use it.
Yeah, if you know how to use it.
Well, if you do have trouble reading a map, you can always look up and follow those old wooden signs.
I love the millennial response. Oh, I almost dropped my phone. We would have been lost. Two millennials get lost in the park because they run out of cell phone service. Says one millennial to the other, let's have brunch.
Now, a couple of things. I've noticed this too. With some phone subsystems, you can be using your GPS to go from here to there. And if you lose cell tower coverage, the GPS stops working.
Oh,
and
really?
They kind of hinted at this in this report, if you listen to the beginning of it, because I heard that. I go, oh. That's because I guess they're calling home and they're constantly reporting where you are, or there's something going on. And when that gets cut off, they say, well, this isn't working. So they just kill the whole thing. You should be able to roam around without any cell phone coverage with a GPS. It's satellites.
I like the paper maps. Not bad to learn how to read them. Not bad to have them as a backup.
There's that. But I'm just saying this other mechanism is bad. You can buy a real GPS handheld device that doesn't rely on the cell towers. And it's bull crap. I mean, the trees don't move. They're either there or they're not. It's not like there needs update. Oh, I need a software update. Well, this redwood is in the wrong spot. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Compass helps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Compass. What's a compass? I have one on my phone.
Yeah, it's true. You do. Actually,
they one on their phone. Yeah. Oh, boy.
All right. Well, I got a weird one here.
All right.
This is every once in a while you run into this a topic or issue that maybe it can't even discuss. Maybe it's illegal to discuss it, but they slip it into dramas. Some writer's got a hair up his ass, or he says,
is this a Lear Foundation thing?
No, this is worse.
Oh,
no, this is not worse. This has got nothing to do with it. This is somebody who decided to complain about a situation that we have. Which is the Invention Secrecy Act. Have you ever heard of that?
Invention Secrecy Act? Maybe refresh my memory.
Well, there's nothing to refresh because we've never talked about it. So it's technically called the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. So they brought it into the storyline of an elementary a couple of weeks ago. And I was like riveted to this. I looked it up. I did some research on it, but let's listen to the clip.
Early this morning, a scientist named Ken Fukata was detained by military police.
Why?
You familiar with the Invention Secrecy Act?
Sure. It gives the government power to seize control of any invention it considers a threat to national security.
Oh.
The inventor's patent becomes classified, like it never existed.
It does more than that. Anyone working on the invention has to stop work immediately and can't even talk about it anymore. There's no promise of compensation, and the orders can be maintained for years, meaning the inventor can never profit from their work.
And you think that's why Fukata got scooped up? He leaked his own work.
We think he had the most to gain. With the public aware of the tech, legally, the order can't be enforced. He could resume his work and make millions.
It'd be risky. If they can prove he did it, he'll go to prison. And he'll lose his patent.
Which is why we think he committed a murder to cover it up.
We want to talk to Fukata, but the military won't let us near him.
Wow. Well, that explains a lot. Now I know why free energy is so suppressed. 0 point energy. Sorry, I flubbed the punchline. 0 point energy.
0 point.
Dang, good clip.
I thought that was a great clip, and they revisit it a little bit later when they said the guy can't even go to court to get this rescinded because you can't. It's like one of those private, one of those papers that you get from the government saying you can't talk about this paper, you can't say this, you can't do that, you can't do that. You can't even go to court because if you say anything at all, you're in violation of the secrecy order that you just dropped on you like a bomb and you're screwed.
But they also said it can't be legally enforced. Didn't I hear them say that in the clip?
No, they never said that in the clip.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Early this morning,
you think that's why Fukata got scooped up?
No, here
he
somewhere.
He leaked his own work.
We think he had the most to gain. With the public aware of the tech.
Here.
There's no promise of compensation, and the orders can be maintained for years, meaning the inventor can never profit from their work.
Maybe not.
And you think that's why Fukata got scooped up? He leaked his own work.
We think he had the most to gain. With the public aware of the tech, legally, the order can't be enforced.
Yeah, legally, the order can't be enforced.
Okay, well, here's the storyline. If it's leaked to the public, then the order can't be enforced. But as you've listened further in the clip, if he leaked it to the public, then he can be arrested.
I got it.
The patent can be killed. You don't get a patent. There's no patent anymore, and you're in jail.
We have guys who work at USPTO, a dude named Ben. And by the way, he sent a note a while back, and I don't think I read it, but there's all kinds of shenanigans going on there. Maybe he can let us know if he's ever come across this or ever heard of it internally. Well,
I'm sure they all heard of it, but I like to know how they. Okay, so the patent gets. By the way, you can bypass this with something called trade secrets. So you could invent something that is going to have this, be something they can grab. But if you do it as a trade secret, you can still produce the product, but it's more risky because you have one Chinese guy from the PRC working for you, and the next thing you know, the Chinese have the idea. Yeah. But I would like to know does the patent go? This is what I would ask, which is, do you put the patent in, and then is there like an NSA guy standing at the door
who goes and checks
pre-approving patents?
No, come on, it's AI.
It's AI.
AI scans all submissions and looks like we have.
This wasn't considered much of a big deal. This idea was first employed in 1940 at the beginning of World War II. Our beginning, and it was set so you can grab the patent for 2 years, and then it goes back to the inventor, right? Because I guess you can do countermeasures or whatever, because it's supposed to have to do with national security, but you can call anything national security. Sure. When they did the Patent Act or this Inventor Secrecy Act of 1951, which came kind of like during the Truman administration's lockdown of the entire security system in this country, the creation of the CIA and all these things in 47, 48, they had it, so there was no 2-year deal. It was like you lose your patent and they take it and you can pound sand forever.
But this is also completely unconstitutional. The Constitution mentions the protection of inventions and profit by the inventors specifically.
Yeah.
So this has to be a constitutional violation and shall make no law.
It's been in play since 1952, and it has not. No one has fought it. I don't think anyone knows about it. Except some poor schlubs who've invented stuff.
According to Okie Doke in the Troll Room, one of my favorite writers, Daniel Suarez, his book Influx has the exact same storyline. I have not read Influx. But I love that guy's writing, so I'll read it.
According to the wiki page, 5,002. I don't know how they got the 2, but over 5,000 inventions have been shelved because of this Secrecy Act. And who knows? Maybe 0 Point Energy is in there.
This, people, is why you come to the No Agenda show. These are the life-saving tips and life-altering tips that you can only get here.
The more you know in the morning. I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
So we will do a few thank yous for people who came in above $50 and under $200. Starting with Anonymous, $160.16. So
it's a double boob.
It's a double boob.
Yes,
yeah. It's a double boob. 8008
and he
times
wants
2.
And he wants a de-douche?
You've been de-douched.
So Java James, 160.16. That's another double boob, so that makes sense.
Boobs.
John S. Christic over here in El Cerrito.
Oh, right up the road.
That's where the Creedence Clearwater Band came from. Sir Tony of South Jersey, and that's 150. Sir Tony of South Jersey, also 150 in Sicklerville.
And he wants F cancer for his mother-in-law. We'll do that, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sir Dingus of the Burning River in Moreland Hills, Ohio, 150. Gerald Small, 12345. Sir Dirtbag Dave in Concord, California. We got to do a local meetup, so I want to see Dirtbag Dave for sure. 12345. Robert Umberger, 123. It would be funny if he was actually a dirtbag. There are these guys up in Washington State. You see them in the grocery store. They're literally physically dirt bags.
No, okay, that's a lifestyle.
They have a white T-shirt and kind of khaki pants that are just filthy.
Huh.
Robert Umberger, 12345. Sir Alex, Knight of the Northern Launchpad, 12121.
He says your commission split from sales to FAAMG is attached. What is FAAMG?
I don't know.
Why do I not know this?
Well, we should know it. He'll let us know later.
Yeah.
Well, Anonymous 113.33 is in San Francisco. I've been staring into the media abyss, and boy, is it staring back. Protect himself with a donation. Mark Hall. Hey, Mark Hall.
Hey, Mark.
$101.01. David Cox.
Well, let me read this. Hope this small donation will help pay the new tariffs on John's pricey French wines. Keep up the good work, fellas. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mark.
Cynic. David Cox and $100 in Kilauea, North Carolina.
He wants a de-douching, long-time douchebag. Oops. Sorry.
You've been de-douched.
Don't worry. Karma coming for you at the end. Promise.
Sir Jim Zuckel, 100. Joshua Thibodeau in Dayton, Texas, 100. Aaron Lovelace, $100. Dennis.
Hey, first-time donor after 10 years of listening. Started when I was 16. I know I'm a douchebag. Don't de-douche me just yet because I don't deserve it. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You've been de-douched.
Yes, you do.
$5 a year. Dennis Cavell, actually 10.
Yeah.
Dennis Cavell, $100. Carlos Piscina, $100. The best podcast in the universe. Anonymous in Denver, Colorado says Dvorak uses a wine attack. It's super effective. Dvorak just earned the show a hundo. I never heard the word hundo.
No, I know Hundi. Rick Dees.
No,
Rick Dees.
A number of people say hundo on the show.
Do you remember Rick Dees? Remember Rick Dees? Rick Dees, 102.7 Kiss FM, Los Angeles. Rick Dees.
Yeah, he's the one who did the duck song.
Yes, the disco duck. He would walk around. Disco duck. He would walk around with a wad of hundreds, and he would hand them out all the time to people. A hundy, a Rick Dees hundy. Like, hey, that was great transition you did on that song. Here's a hundy. He was so rich, he just walk around with $100 bills, hand people hundies. yeah, he was well known for it.
Well, I think hundo has a better sound.
Okay.
Kuang Lu, I think, in Tustin, California. It's got an email note. We'll read it later. $100, hundo. Daniel Senz, Saenz, in Spring, Texas, 100. He teaches cello.
Oh. Sexy instrument. For a woman.
Brian Longenecker.
Ah, one of our end of show mixers.
Yeah, 999. Sir Chris Gray of the Isle of Wight in Covington, Louisiana, 8888. Anonymous, 8008. Boob.
Anonymous requesting a de-douching, started and left the show back in the beginning, but I'm back and enjoying it now more than ever. Even started hitting my girlfriend in the mouth. If you're new to the show, that's a good thing. Thank you for the twice-a-week in-depth rundown of the insane media. Please add, girl, didn't you even read my book? Okay, we'll play that somewhere. Anyway, de-douching is a verb.
You've been de-douched.
There you go.
And get the de-douching button out for Tex in Richmond, Virginia, 8008. He needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Kyle Blank in Houston, Texas, 8008, and it's in honor of the boob glitch. Michael Lynch, Sydney, Australia, 8008.
Also, saw John's missing boob email. Had to act. He wants a de-douching as well.
You've been de-douched.
I love that someone's been listening to the show apparently for a long time, has not donated, but oh my God, he missed a boob. Got to donate. fantastic.
There's a lot of newcomers here.
Yes, it's heartening. It's heartening and
disturbing at the same time. Ryan Quick, 7733.
Endearing was the word. Yeah.
Yeah, endearing. David Bamford in Ash Grove, Queensland, 76. Sir Lucas of the Lost Bits, 75 in Tacoma, Washington. Sir Slarty Bart Fast, keeper of the Crinkly Bits in Hope, Rhode Island.
With a lopsided boob, 6008.
Yeah, 6008. Yeah, we got to isolate these in special donations. Colton Robinson, 6006. That's the perky boobs or the small boobs.
Smallers, yeah.
Kurt Von Air in Warren, Michigan. I think he's in the local number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
First time donation, please de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
Listen to this.
These Michigonians are all...
Well, he says, I'm donating because the show has greatly reduced my anxiety. Is incredibly entertaining and educational. You've definitely improved my quality of life. The community aspect of No Agenda, what I was talking about earlier, is totally unique and only possible because of your consistency and dedication. Shout out to the producers from Michigan Local 1 who I met with last week.
Good, he's in Local 1. Kevin McLaughlin, Locust, North Carolina, 6006. Sir Cuss Media, FEMA Region 8, 6006. It's fantastic deconstruction these last few shows. He needs some girlfriend karma.
Yep.
Matthew Cargo, who put that at the end, 5650. Another guy that never donated before. We shouldn't have waited so long, he says. Matthew McCoy in Burleson, Texas.
He gets a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
I think they should ask for it.
Oh, okay.
Just
okay. All right.
To minimum. Matthew McCoy in Burleson, Texas, 5555. Lorelei Visconti in Bakersfield, California. I'm 33 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days old today.
Huh.
And
please
call out my dad, Skylar, as a douchebag.
I'm pretty sure Skylar has donated.
Skylar Visconti, I remember the name.
Yeah, I'm sure he's been around for a long time. But okay,
well, he's going to have to call her out then.
It's nothing like having
phone calls needed.
Yes, on the
Thomas
double.
Heil Jr. in Lowman, New York, 5510. Finally,
and he's going to be a knight.
Yeah, is he on the list?
I don't. Let me see.
Thomas.
No.
Well, he wants to be Sir Thomas of the Nocturnal Realm.
Okay, hold on. So it's a.
This is good. This letter is a good one.
Okay, you read.
I need to read this.
Yep.
If either of you find yourselves in the Finger Lakes region in upstate New York, we would need to arrange a mobile meetup to sample the various wines and craft beers produced here. The Finger Lakes region is one of the very rare, weird areas of the United States that actually produces quality wine. Generally speaking, other areas produce it, but it's not an institutionalized thing like it is up in Finger Lakes. That's a thing you should know. David Dietrich in Round Rock, Texas, 5510. Like an F cancer at the end. We got that coming up. Yep. Gabriel Malakian in Llano, California, 55. Needs another de-douching. First time donation.
You've been de-douched.
I have to read this. I graduated from UCLA with a BA in creative writing. I write poems. And I've seen the effect that the Trump derangement syndrome has had on my peers. I also worked in Hollywood as a grip for 5 years before clawing my way into getting writing work and leveraging my degree. Those poor folks on set have also lost it.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for keeping my amygdala squeaky clean. My current job as an editor in a tech company is no doubt due to not becoming a hateful, bitter SJW.
My goodness. Thank you. Good note.
Sean O'Connor in Bloomington, Indiana, 5420. Did we give her? I'm sorry. Did I give her the de-douching? I think so. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Tom Beeson Sean O'Connor, 5220 in Bloomington, Indiana.
Well, that's all finally left the douchebag club and has a birthday. Okay.
Todd Beeson in Chino Hills, California, 5115. Brian Richardson in Aurora, Illinois, 5069. He's a drunken douchebag, he says.
It's a little too drunk, this one. I don't think you can read this.
Okay. Sir Eric V.M., Baronet of the Valley in Van Nuys, California, 5038. Joe Bissessi, 5038. Andrew Kelly, 5033 in Minnetonka.
Says Space Force, and if worthy, may I please have a de-douching? Yes.
You've been de-douched.
Piling on.
Yeah.
The de-douched. Richard Toman, 5505. Keep up the stellar analysis. Scott Nelson in Melbourne, Florida, 5001. And the following people are $50 donors, name and location if available. Kenneth Lindbergh in Miami, Florida. Alan D. Peterson. Douglas O'Donnell. Darren Dinkowitz in Dubai, Arab Emirates. Take a look at that. Is there anything in there? He's the odd one out, apparently, from listening to the show. Jose Ferreira in Newbury, Berkshire, Great Britain. Niels Bonnecker in Hamburg, Deutschland. Louis Pasteur of the El Pastor family. No, Louis Pasteur in Miami, Florida. Michael Ragusa in Tustin. Ragus. Yancey Summerhour in Houston. Arnie Carlson. Andre Adams. William Alcorn, Tomball, Texas. Michael Kleckner in Ewing, New Jersey. Seth Harper, parts unknown. Matthew Lomar in Elwood, Illinois. Lauren Childs in Macon, Georgia. Michelle Winton in parts unknown. Michael Kern in Cypress, California. And last but not least, Mitchell Kaufman in Hillsboro, Oregon.
Michael Kern, we need to read his note.
Okay.
Hi, Adam and John. Sorry. So sorry to hear donations are down. Here's a little extra love in addition to my regular weekly subscription. I finally got around to checking my total donations. I've been a listener since show 1, day 1, and was pleased to see I've achieved knight status and then some. Please knight me as Sir Mike, Knight of the Magic Kingdom. I would also like to recognize my son Jacob for achieving the rank of Eagle Scout, and I wish him a happy 18th birthday. He and I are both train fans, though not quite foamers. So a little train horn for us, and I know that we appreciate all the work you guys put into the best podcast in the universe. And thank you very much, Michael, and congratulations.
He's on the list.
Yes, and congratulations to your son Jacob. That is no small feat.
Yeah, we have an inordinate number of Eagle Scouts involved with this show.
Which says something.
I know it does. I'm not sure what.
We're not quite sure what it says, but it says something.
We ever need to learn how to tie a knot.
That's right. We're in the pocket. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you, as I said earlier, thank you for, you know what? Everyone who donated today, you clearly understand how the Value for Value network functions. And that by itself is not only appreciated, but you are setting a great example. Thank you very much. Also, people who came in under $50, we always have people who are on our subscription plans. Please check them all out at
Dvorak.org/NA.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Hey.
Fucking cancer! Fucking cancer!
You've got karma.
And here's your list for today. It is August 26, 2018. Sir Mike Wakefield says happy birthday to his eldest daughter, Ayla Yarish. She turns 10 today. Andrew Davis turns 48 on August 26. Christopher Blanco says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife, Dame Ashley, Lady of the Lake. She also celebrates on the 28th. Michael Kern says happy birthday to his son, Jacob, Eagle Scout, turning 18. And Sean O'Connor celebrates on the 29th. And my very own human resource, my daughter, Christina Valerie Curry, named after her grandmother, turns 28 years old tomorrow. Where has the time gone? Happy birthday from all your buddies and from Uncle John and Adam. And That's what I meant. Oh, there we go. Woo! There's a lot there. We have a number of nights as well, John, so get out the blade. Get out the long knives. The long one. The long one. The long one. Yes, that's up on stage here on the podium next to our lectern, we need Thomas Heil Jr., Joss Thibodeau, Michael Kern, and Anonymous, and you, the other Anonymous, both of you. Please all step up on the stage because you have contributed to the best podcast in the universe and have Value for Value Network in the amount of $1,000 or more, and therefore, I'm very proud to pronounce thee as Sir Thomas of the Nocturnal Realm, Sir Joss of South Street, Texas, Sir Mike, Knight of the Magic Kingdom, Sir Sheep in the Night, and Sir Up. Gentlemen, for you, we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. We got chocolate and peanut butter, cookies and vodka, warm beer and cold women, taquito and tequila. We got bong hits and bourbon. We got vodka and vanilla. We got sparkling cider and escorts, and mutton and mead. And all of you need to head over to noagendanation.com/rings. Eric DeShield is going to make sure we have the right size, send that out to you, and please take a picture of it and tweet it. It really does work. People enjoy it.
Title changes, turn and face the slaves. Title changes, don't want to be a douchebag.
And we congratulate Sir Daniel, who now becomes a baronet. Today he will be known as Sir Daniel Baronet of the Bayonet, which is a nice little play on words. And thank you for your courage and your support of the program and the work. And again, remember us for our next show on Thursday at Dvorak.org/NA.
Yeah.
There you go. Very good.
So there is some indication, somebody in one of the gossip forums said that the gun thing, the Disney's director, the guy's alleged the guy made all
James Gunn,
the pedophile Joker.
Yeah,
and a lot of these, there's a big crackdown going on at Disney, and you see stuff like ABC's news. Yeah, because according to the gossips, they say it's because Bob Iger,
yeah,
the guy that runs Disney, is considering a political run as a Democrat.
Oh, so they got to clear everything out.
Yeah, and he's another of the billionaire Democrats.
This is happening left and right. If you want to do anything in the public realm, politics, news, media, or otherwise, really anything in the public realm, you've got to be so squeaky clean, because if someone doesn't like you, or there's just some reason, it could be a competitive thing, it could be because they're competing for a prize, it could be for an office position. You have to make sure that your history is squeaky clean, or even, let's see, where is it? I think I have a story about this, don't I? Yes. This could happen to you.
IndyCar driver Connor Daly's NASCAR debut this weekend has been sidelined by a racial slur. Lilly Diabetes has pulled its sponsorship of Daly's car in the NASCAR Infinity race at Road America. According to ESPN, Connor Daly himself did not use the racial slur, but his father, racing analyst Derek Daly, recently admitted to using the N-word more than 30 years ago. Lilly says it's dropping its sponsorship because the controversy has become a distraction.
And that's how it works. And they just don't want to be part of the story.
30 years ago, it's not even you. Someone your father in this case, but it could be someone you knew.
Yes.
That's clip of the day right there. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Clip of the day.
And the gutless corporations, which again brings us back to our show. These gutless corporations pull the plug on stuff so fast.
Yeah.
This is Lilly in this case.
Yeah.
Because this kid did nothing wrong. He wasn't he's like in his 20s. I'm sure he's a rookie racer, so he's not even, it was before he was born that this happened.
Yes, yeah, probably.
And they pull the plug on him, and then it ruins his career.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
I know.
It's unbelievable. And this is why we can't have sponsors. And, we had some jerk wrote a note in saying, I don't have it in front of me. He says, I can see why you have lousy donations. You guys are just a couple of Trump shills.
Yeah, that's right. That's us, man.
Good luck. I'm out. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And I went over to the database to see
if he ever donated. No.
Well, he never donated, but I went to the course not. But I wanted to see if he was on. But he did actually unsubscribe and disappear.
Oh, okay. Well, then he did it the right way.
Yeah, but he didn't. I didn't need the note.
No, of course not. Of course, you don't need it.
So here's the some interesting thing. There's a big brouhaha in the UK over some police. I think this was in London, hitting some girl flat in the face with the palm of his hand to kind of stun her so they could get her handcuffed. She was kicking and biting, and it was impossible. Now, this is the end of the debate about this on I think this was on RT, but this police hitting girl in UK, and I want to ask some comment.
It's described as police brutality, which it isn't. You also keep saying 14-year-old girl, like that has any relevance. 14-year-old girls can cause harm just like anybody else.
You're telling me that two grown police officers with 4 limbs to deal with on one person, they can't restrain those 4 limbs and the body without bashing the head into a metal shutter? And to go back to a point I made before, and I don't feel you responded to.
It wasn't bashing a head into a metal shutter.
You have talked about this interview as if there's no...
disorient.
This is about recognising that if the police are going to respond to a video like that with pure defensiveness, I think the problems are only going to get worse between sections of the public that already have a lot of doubts about the police. Black Lives Matter in the US, for instance, it's not as if the police haven't been brutalising people for many years, it's that people now have smartphones and can record it.
You would be better off supporting the police in trying to keep order and questioning why 14-year-old girls are brawling in the street with other children of that age, instead of questioning the actions of the police doing their best to deal with that situation.
So this was going on, and every time I see these, I'm always thinking back about, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
Of all these crazy things that you used to see when you were younger. And look at the new invention. The police have a big net they can throw over somebody. They have some sticky goo. They can shoot it at someone, and then they can't move anymore. They're stuck against the wall with the sticky goo. There's all these crazy things, but yet we've seen, except for the one thing that I have seen used a lot, which is they string out like a bunch of spikes on the road.
Yes, yeah.
So a car drives over and he loses all his tires. But except for that one device, all this other stuff is just this pipe dreams. Why don't they employ some of these things once in a while? I always like the idea of the net.
I think that's very funny.
Yeah, but where is all this stuff? They just end up having to take the hand. And apparently, this is like some technique where you just palm somebody really hard in there.
Yeah, spatially disorient them. I like that. I'm spatially disoriented.
They put cups on them.
We've talked a lot in the show about political correctness and social justice warriors. We talk about it all the time. I had a little game, a little Ask John. I'm going to give you a quote. I'm going to give you. I won't do the. I'm going to give you a quick quote, one paragraph. You're going to tell me whose quote it is. You ready?
Sure.
Those who are most sensitive about politically incorrect terminology are not the average ghetto dweller, abused woman, or disabled person, but a minority of activists, many of whom do not even belong to any oppressed group, but come from privileged strata of society. Political correctness has its stronghold among university professors who have secure employment with comfortable salaries, the majority of whom are heterosexual white males from upper middle class families. John C. Dvorak, who wrote that?
P. Diddy.
No, you want one more guess?
Noam Chomsky.
No.
I have no idea. Wait. Jordan Peterson.
Nope. This is to be found on page 2 of Industrial Society and Its Future, written by Professor Theodore Kaczynski, also known as the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Bemrose, for reminding me of that. How about that?
Good quote. It's a good quote.
I'd forgotten all about it. Yeah, super nailed it. Written in the 80s.
Yeah, this thing's been going on for a while. Hey, this is new, people.
Yeah, I have another 3-parter, and I really must say, this episode of Bill Maher's show, if you can stomach it, the whole show is worth watching. David Korn was on promoting his book. I mean, it was just, we could just play that.
Did he lose his job because he was like a sexual predator?
Oh, heralded. on this show. I'm not going to play clips from him, but he was on. It was some woman who wrote a cookbook who was completely unhinged. It was a great episode if you're into that kind of stuff, which is what we do. Kara Swisher was also on. Kara is, of course, the Recode founder and she co-founder. But she also is now, she's expanded her own brand and writes op-eds for the New York Times, or maybe even journalistic pieces, I think, as well. She appears everywhere, and with the big face bag scandal, she's been on MSNBC a lot, talking about her own articles, of course. And she came on to talk about Facebag and Zuckerberg specifically, and I think I can't wait to hear your opinion of some of the things she's saying here. And we do have to note that when it comes to Silicon Valley, she may have a bone of contention or a bone to pick, because she was married to former top Googler. What's her name?
Megan Smith.
Yeah. Who was also the CIO of the United States of America under the Obama administration. And they divorced, so she may have I'm just putting that into context. I don't know, but she might have a bit of a beef, like screw Google. I don't know, but
maybe.
She comes on as the second special guest. She sits next to Mara when the panel's on.
Oh, right. That's the one that comes out last.
Yes, and this is about the purge and about what Facebag is doing. And I thought it was very enlightening to hear all this from her.
You need ID to buy groceries.
Yes, you do.
We know that. Why don't you need ID to prove who you really are on Facebook or Twitter?
Because it wouldn't make them so many billions of dollars, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's a really problematic...
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason, is that this has been a thing that's been built from the beginning to operate the way it does, which is to do growth at all costs, and also take away your data privacy from you. And that's what it does.
So there's no way we can shame them into doing the right thing?
Well,
we're under attack. The country's under attack.
Yeah.
This is the modern way of warfare. It's not artillery anymore from Russia.
Yeah, I wrote a column in the Times talking about this idea of values and standards and the fact that they had to get some. They had to have them. But for what I thought was, I did a podcast just recently with Mark Zuckerberg, and one of the things when we talked about it was the idea of what was going on and whether he had responsibility for the platform. A lot of these people don't feel like they have responsibility.
He doesn't?
Well, it's a weird thing. They do now. If you notice, when he was in Congress, he said, we have a broader responsibility. And my question when he was saying that to all those various politicians was, why didn't he have it in the first place? Why didn't they start by building these things so that they would be that they would evolve in a way that kept pace with humanities? And what I realized when I was talking to him was that he didn't take humanities in college because he didn't finish college and instead became a billionaire. So that they don't have a great sense of the impact of the things they built.
Well, also, I think we've romanticized nerds.
Yes, we have.
Back when I was in college, nerd was a bad word.
Right.
And then it became, this cute thing.
Right.
Hot girls like to say, I'm a nerd. No, you're not. It's not really always a good thing. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, I'm sorry, but that is a real nerd. He looks awful. He just...
Right, yeah.
Listen to everyone laughing about someone's appearance. Which Swisher calls him out on?
His clothes are terrible. He's awkward. I mean, Bill Gates looks like Cary Grant. Really?
Right.
I wouldn't agree with that. Not bad. I'm just saying he's on this spectrum of dweebiness that I don't think.
All right, now.
No, I just.
Hey now, Bill.
Hey now, Bill.
What?
You shouldn't insult his looks. You can insult his entire service and the way it's ruined democracy, but please don't insult his looks.
He's not watching. That's my thing. If they're not watching.
I know, you're going to say they plug him in at night and he's in the closet.
No, but I'm just saying when people are nerds, I think they just have, that's what part of nerdiness is. You have trouble relating to humanity, and I don't think they very often have a great sense of humor.
Yeah, it's called an EQ. They don't have an EQ kind of thing.
Right.
What I think it is that they don't. I try to talk to them in the language they talk to. So I often try to use like Marvel comics and various things like that.
This is a takedown, man.
What I like to do is
insulting. Just for the left to be doing this is just shameful.
Oh, and it gets worse.
This idea, which is actually a Voltaire quote, but I don't bring that into the discussion with them.
Because they're too stupid.
Which is with great power comes great responsibility, which was Peter Parker's uncle. And so I keep
Spider-Man.
saying to them, I said, you have abrogated your responsibility.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't either. What is Spider-Man, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, she's the one that seems like more of the comic nerd.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it either, but they're so stupid. I don't tell them it's Voltaire. I say it's what Spider-Man would say. Now, do you understand me, Zuck?
With great power comes great responsibility, which was Peter Parker's uncle. And so I keep saying to them, I said, you have abrogated your responsibility when you built these things, and the way you built them made them so they would operate this way. And so when you think about it, these sites were not hacked by the Russians. They were used exactly as they were built.
Right.
There was no hacking going on. The Russians just walked right in and did them.
Yes.
Oh, they spent a whole $100,000.
Thank you for making my point, though. I appreciate that. Now let's talk about the hearings on the Hill.
But companies never just do the right thing because you ask them. You have to fine them. You have to threaten them. You have to regulate them.
But did you watch those hearings? There's more coming up. But did you watch it? How do you think Mark did?
Well, you don't make me talk about Mark Zuckerberg again because
but I mean all of them. They're all coming there. What happens is it's an incredibly low bar because politicians are absolutely brain dead when it comes to tech, essentially. Right. And so what they do is they ask questions during that particular hearing. It was about terms of service. It was as if terms of service were the biggest national security crisis of our time, like that you can't read them, that they're super confusing.
But didn't Facebook start out as something very sexist? Wasn't it? I'm getting this from
that's the movie. The movie. Don't go with the movie.
It wasn't something where they were just rating the women at Harvard?
That was one of the sites, yes. It was sort of a hot or not kind of thing, yeah.
Well, that's horrible.
Yeah, but that wasn't what Facebook was then. That was his first thing. We don't want to be judged by our first things, Bill.
Is she referring to him saying the 9/11 terrorists were not cowards?
I don't know. Oh. Maybe. That's pretty interesting. You'd catch that.
That's the first thing that sprang to mind.
But I don't think so because I don't think she thinks that way. But maybe it's possible.
Facebook was then. That was his first thing. We don't want to be judged by our first things, Bill.
Come on, what was my first?
Just me. I'm talking about me.
Okay. Last clip. And this is where she really just tears them all apart.
No, but I think the thing you have to think about is when you think about responsibility, they don't think there's consequences. So they don't think about the consequences of what they created and what they invented. And one of the Facebook's biggest things that were on the walls, if you go to Facebook headquarters, first of all these headquarters are built as if they're for 12-year-old boys, essentially. All kinds of slides and things like that. And on the wall, one time they asked me to go down a slide, and I'm like, I'm not going down your fucking slide. And I was like, I didn't like it when I was 8 years old, so I'm not going to like it now. But they have on the wall, they have this thing that said, move fast and break things. I think you've all seen that. It's the move fast, and they were all excited about move fast and break things. And when you think about it, you go, well, you've broken a lot of things, now what are you going to fix? But their mentality was that.
Right.
Break things.
Break things.
Yeah. So they broke democracy, but okay.
Yeah.
No, they really? I mean, they're part of it. I mean, all the things we were talking about before, what Donald Trump is doing, these are part of that. But what social media does is it amplifies, and what I said in the Times was that it weaponizes everything. It weaponizes the First Amendment. It weaponizes social media. Yeah. It weaponizes social discourse, and it creates and it weaponizes discord, and that's the problem. And that's what the Russians took advantage of.
Mm-hmm. Weaponized.
I would like to go back, if you could go back, when she says it weaponizes social, she's talking about social media weaponizes what?
Let me see.
No, they didn't. I mean, they're part of it. I mean,
wait.
Oh, sorry.
What I'm looking for is what is she referring to when she says it?
I think social media.
But I think she says it weaponizes social media.
Oh, well, let's listen again.
Was that?
Right. Maybe back a little bit just to make sure.
Fast and break things. I think you've all seen that.
Move fast and break things.
We're all excited about move fast and break things.
Oh, maybe it's the attitude.
And when you think about it, you go, well, you've broken a lot of things, now what are you going to fix? But their mentality was that.
Right.
Break things.
Break things.
Yeah. So they broke democracy, but okay.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. I mean, they're part of it. I mean, all the things we were talking about before, what Donald Trump is doing, these are part of that. But what social media does is it amplifies, and what I said in the Times was that it weaponizes everything. It weaponizes the First Amendment. It weaponizes.
I think she's saying social media weaponizes.
I'm getting that too. I mean, that's what she said, the way the structure is. But how does social media do anything? It's just a neutral. It's not like a thing that can weaponize anything. It just exists.
No,
social media exists in a vacuum. Mm-hmm. It itself does not take action.
No, it does not. But it amplifies action.
Maybe she can say the existence of social media invites the weaponization of it itself.
The way she says it makes it sound like you bring a rubber band, and when you're on social media, it's a bazooka.
I don't like this analogy that she's doing.
I can't help you. But that is Kara Swisher, one of the most influential tech writers of our time.
Yeah, she's never really known. I've worked with her before. She's more of a social commentator. She doesn't really generally know that much about tech, technically. I mean, there's people that do and some people that don't. Some people are like myself. I come from a hobbyist background, so I was into the nuts and bolts and the chips. Because if you're going to blame anyone, you blame the chips, it seems to me, if you're going to take her argument to the logical extreme. Yes. Intel is responsible.
Yeah.
Because with no chips, none of this would happen.
That's right. They weaponized information.
So she's a commentator, and when she says when she ridicules move fast and break things, that is really kind of a techie thing where you want to, do a lot of coding and make things so they break and so you can fix them. It's just part of a process.
What she should be talking about is that Facebook employs an actual army of social psychologists whose entire job is to make sure you get outraged.
There's a lot of things she could talk about, but she doesn't. She just kind of feeds into what Bill Maher wants her to talk about.
But remember, that's Dimension B.
It's just an outrage over what?
Yeah, precisely.
The Russians and a $100,000 ad buy?
Well, the Russian bots are still at work. They never went away.
Yeah, those Russian bots. Oh,
yes.
They're so hard to figure out which ones are the Russian bots.
Yes, apparently the Russian bots used Molly Tibbetts' death to distract from Michael Cohen and Paul Manafort news stories. The Russians are still helping Trump. Yeah, it's in The Independent. Wow. It says it right there. Black and white. Must be true. Must be true. Yeah. Yeah.
Russian bots.
Talk about weaponizing some fucking tragedy. Just by saying that alone, just a horrible, horrible publication.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's really not good.
Well, I like the way that they both stereotype nerds and tech people.
Yeah.
That was good. That's nothing. Stereotyping is a really great idea, and I'm glad to see you guys doing it.
And that's why we've always been for the dude's name Ben, and this is exactly why, because we know what they're really doing. But no, nerds, losers, idiots.
Well, talking about nerds, let's go to wine nerds.
Okay.
Now, we got this story that's been floating around. I got the biggest kick out of this because I thought at first is that they may be on to something, but then I realized this is nothing but a marketing scam.
The name here is replica, as in replicas of famous wines, made to taste the same, but easier on the wallet. Ari Walker is the CEO of Integrated Beverage Group, maker of replica wines.
What would the replica version of a $50 wine cost?
$20.
Wouldn't I know it when I taste it?
No, you wouldn't know it when you taste it.
Traditional winemaking begins with the grapes, but replica begins in this Denver laboratory. Here, famous name wines they want to replicate are analyzed down to parts per billion, overseen by Sean Callan, Director of Operations and Quality.
There are a lot of chemicals in wine, and they can tell us a lot of different things.
And these chemicals tell us things like what?
Well, things
aroma,
like
taste.
Yeah, both taste and aroma. So these chemicals, your brain will tell you smell a certain way, or they taste a certain way. And we're able to map it out and say, this wine is this buttery, this oaky, has notes of green apples in it, has a certain amount of dryness to it, the heat from the amount of alcohol.
Callan and his team create a chemical map of the distinctive flavors and aromas. Then Replica mixes its grapes to match the analysis.
Now, before you deconstruct this, a lot of people may not know that you are an accomplished wine connoisseur. You have been a judge in wine contests. You have been a collector for as long as I've... What?
Paid judge.
Paid judge, not just some schmuck. I respect, not only I, but many people, when we're out and about, I sometimes take a picture of the wine menu, say, John, here we are, what do I drink? And you're a very generous person when it comes to that. You will always help someone find or pick the white wine, and it's always under $100, otherwise it's a ripoff for sure. You know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
We got to continue.
Oh, that's the end of the clip, so I'm waiting.
That was the end of the clip?
Yeah.
Waiting. I go through all this trouble getting this clip. Okay, so let me finish the clip for you. So they go with this guy doing the report. He says, let me taste some wines. And they show a lot of B-roll where they show a bottle of like Richebourg or Echezo or one of these like $200-$300 bottle of Pinot from Burgundy. And then they show the wines that they're replicating. I don't know why they showed these other bottles. The wines they're replicating are like these pretty run-of-the-mill, cheap kind of house wines that you'd get in a bar someplace, a good bar, but like Miomi, that some people like to call it, Pinot from the Kaimus people, and these kinds of wines. They're not that special. And so the guy doing the reports and tasting with this expert, and he says, you're right, the other one's better, it's better. And then they follow up with the guy saying, well, I'm not going to end the report there. I'm going to take these wines and the replicas and do a blind tasting with my neighbors. And so at the end of the report, not one neighbor thought any of the replicas, with the exception of maybe one white wine, was any good at all. So this was a story that was obviously used to promote some brand of wines that they've been messing with. This is not even what they're trying to do. I'll put it mildly. Is not possible in a million years. Great wine is a witch's brew of weirdness based on the number of yeasts involved, and they're all spitting out their own little version of alcohol, which all tastes different. And anyone who's ever been to, when you do a lot of tasting, if you go to a beverage tasting and you go, it's remarkable. But if you line up 10 vodkas, they all taste different. You'd think vodka's vodka, but no. Vodkas are extremely different tasting from one to the other. That's why people like one or the other. And by the way, the Kirkland French imported vodka is Grey Goose. So they say. I think it tastes slightly different, but it's good. Anyway, to get back to it, this is not possible in a million years. Not possible. It won't happen in anybody listening to this podcast lifetime. I don't think it'll ever happen.
Perfect way to end the show. I mean, do you get a scala of information during these 3 hours that we're together twice a week? I think so. If it was of any value to you, let us know. And go to Dvorak.org/NA. Thank you all very much for participating again today. Thank you, Troll Room. Thank you, Back Arfus. We have on the stream, noagendastream.com coming up. We have Who Are These Podcasts, which is a fun show to listen to. Deconstructing podcasts on the stream, noagendastream.com. And coming to you from downtown Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State, FEMA Region 6, on the governmental maps in the 5x9 Cludio in the common law condo. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where, we haven't seen the sun for the last week. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday right here on No Agenda. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. And until then, adios, mofos.
Here's a story of a bunch of snowflakes who were trampling on some other people's rights. All of them lived at home with their mother. They wanted to start fights. Here's the story of a bunch of addicts whose addiction was to outrage all the time. They got so whipped up into a frenzy, thought they commit some crimes. Then the one day they went to attend a rally, and everyone who disagreed was punched. And this group thankfully got arrested. Now we get to laugh at them, the Snowflake Bunch, the Snowflake Bunch, the Snowflake Bunch. Now we get to laugh at them, the Snowflake Bunch.
Largest seizure of private property in human history.
Well, I think the rush is that the president wants somebody on the court who will protect his Okole.
Now we can call a spade a spade.
Is stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI.
Answer the question. All the profits must see the U.S. government to stakeholder sessions.
Now that is how the CIA runs.
Or SAI.
Answer the question. We're done. Get out.
As you point out, she's
basically not like dogs.
That's right, Brad.
You a question. How much are you paid for your answer the
or SAI?
Answer the question.
In the stratosphere.
Get out. I have paid for your
want somebody on the court who will protect his Okole.
I paid for your answer the question. I'm not
stratospheric aerosol.
Get out. Them because it's profitable.
Yeah. It's actually the first
aerosol.
And a contract.
She brought with her a poodle.
Big gig for being a
something to do with the poodle, but
I was government paying I'm not
in SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere.
Get out! I'm not talking about relationship with the government.
He's actually the first got married to his. She brought with her a poodle.
It involved my security clearance.
Didn't want to have anything to do with the poodle. He resisted the dog.
We clear. Well, I'll get out.
Do it.
That everybody want to be honest about that.
Lightweights.
What do you mean lightweights?
Oh, no. San Francisco's got them. They got RVs. They got trailers. They got people living in their cars. They got people on the streets. They living in tents. They're shooting up. It's unbelievable.
Hundreds of thousands of homeless eating from garbage cans in America. Woo!
And pooping on the streets in San Francisco.
And then there's nothing better when you're pooping on the streets in San Francisco.
Calling out around the world. Be careful where you put your feet. Summer's here and the smell is ripe. Pooping in the streets here in San Francisco. Drop one in New Orleans. The New York shitter. All you need is homeless, more homeless. Junkies everywhere. There'll be crazies crying and feces flying, moving in the streets. It doesn't matter if you're there, just as long as you don't care. Come on everybody, take a dump and blame it all on President Trump. Yeah, we're pooping in the streets. Come on now, we're pooping in the streets.
How did anyone know that the bag of poop on a San Francisco street, how did anyone know that it was 20 pounds? Because like 20 pounds of human waste. Like, how did anyone?
Hey, no, you're walking down the street. What is that, Bill? Oh, it looks like a bag of poop. Hold on a second. I've got a postal scale with me.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Wait a minute. Roast beef for sale, marriages for lemonade. It's all we will get.